Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and this is Friday Night Tights. I am live at San Francisco, and I am joined by my good friend in parts unknown Comix Division. What is up, my friend?
Oh man, all sorts of crazy shit. One of them is not getting any sleep this week, which is why I haven't done jack shit, because I've been trying to catch up, and every time that happens, it doesn't work.
I am right there with you. I'm bloody exhausted. I have been going to bed at 2, 3 in the morning ever since I did this. I did a live stream with on Geeks and Gamers with Mauler and Rags and Doomcock and Cecil. Fucking Cecil's awesome. And it was on the High Council night, and I was up till 4:25, and it just screwed my whole week. I've been just behind and tired, but it was fun. It was lots of fun, and it was almost 7 hours.
Oh, holy shit! That's crazy, man.
It was.
I did a stream with Eglantine, Spike, and just some guy on Monday, and once we got done, we billed at midnight, and I ended up talking to Spike and just some guy till like 2 a.m. and that just like fucked my entire week.
It kills me.
Yeah.
Well, greetings, chat. T. Stoney, Timon FLP, Von Doofus, Jeff McKelvey, Mikey. What is up, Mr. Chuck Nasty? Quasitor, Girthy Gamer SD. What is up? Archmage. I can't see. I'm tired. Archmage Frey. See? Curtis State. Brett Lermont. Man. Eskimonofono. Matthew Matson. Mark Lazarth. Deaths 0079. Oh, Siziggy 94. Matt S. I only know that because he was on my last live stream, or she. Doomsday. Hey, Doomsday's here. That's great. You want to just end it all for us, please?
Yeah.
Jeff McKelvey. Can I get could somebody put my PO box in there for Jeff, please? Matthew or Mark, I would appreciate that. Nordry, good to see you back. Bear, Nerd Fun. Hello, FP Sonny, what is up? So tonight we are going to be talking about a little bit of Game of Thrones because Comix Division didn't watch it. So I'm going to start with, I just have a theory about George. And I didn't think about it, and I really kind of should have put it in my last video, but just consider this a DVD extra, a little bonus theory I have that it could be right, it could be wrong. I'm not really sure on why Winds of Winter is delayed. I think I know. Especially after reading the article I did and hearing what George has had to say or the lack of what he's had to say about the series so far. But I've talked about it a lot. I've got a couple of videos. I've done like hours of live streams. So, I mean, we won't be talking about it very much. The main thing I want to talk about today, we're going to do a couple of Avengers Endgames articles that are hilarious. One from the Mary Pooh and one from IO9. And then Dave Cullen put out a great video, and he's just kind of walking down a path and sitting there talking about free speech. Now, we don't get political here. I'm not going to be talking about one side of the aisle or the other. I just think free speech is, it's one of our rights.
It's very, very important.
It's very important, and some nasty things are going on that we need to discuss. And it's kind of an open question I'm going to have for the chat because I honestly don't know the answer. I'm a little conflicted with one thing. I'm not conflicted with people shouldn't be banned for what they're saying if it's perfectly legal for them to say it. But there's companies are allowed to do what they are allowed to do. And this could become a major problem. And it's just something we should throw out there. I mean, I don't expect to solve the problem tonight, but we could certainly discuss it.
Well, I think one of the things that we definitely need to talk about at some point, and all of us as YouTubers, we need to start pushing for the Internet Bill of Rights, because we have one for our offline, lives. We need one for our online lives as well, because the idea of people being banned for not breaking the rules is ridiculous.
It's discrimination. It's flat out bigoted discrimination, and it's that as Dave. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to that. That's going to be in about 30 minutes. So we will get to that. We'll start out with some fun stuff tonight, and then we'll end it with with you guys. You guys guide the conversation. So if you're over it, you can talk about something else. That's fine. Because I could start talking about Doctor Who or something for 2 hours, or we can talk. Well, we're also going to talk about comic shops. Since Comix Division is here, it's in his title, and that's his main thing. I used to be a comic book retailer. A recent article came out stating that the comic sales are up. It is full of buggery and nonsense and tomfoolery and freaking and cooked numbers. But the biggest deal is they decided to recognize Indiegogo campaigns to help fluff their numbers. Now,
oh my God,
your boy Zach and Ethan, rightly so, think this is a good thing, and it is. I don't mean to piss on that. I'm just saying, as a former member of the comic book industry and as a retailer, I would, and these guys know, they don't need me to tell them anything. Ethan has been a pro much longer than I have. You know, I was only a pro for 10 years, and your boy Zach knows the industry in and out, but I'm sure they know, don't trust them. Don't trust it. Don't trust them at all. So, and they know that. Okay, but we'll start out with my Game of Thrones theory. So I did a video just now. Please check it out. Please like if you can. Game of Thrones is pointless. And
I heard about that fallout. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it is. I mean, it's become pointless. And I was starting to dip out on the show last season, but I always thought we'd get a good battle. And of course, you guys have heard my videos. The last episode was just trash. It killed the show dead on the ground, dead. Right when the Night King got his knife in the gut, that was the knife in the gut to Game of Thrones, but it was already kind of sick anyway and diverged from the book. So Winds of Winter and George is secretly, not so secretly, getting the blame, and I was jumping on this bandwagon, getting the blame for derailing the show and causing, and it's because that book was delayed and they were heavily relying on his dialogue and his plots and talking to him. And they wanted that book because they were going to end the series with that book. That was going to help guide them, at least. He, in 2015, announced it was not going to be out on time. It was very regretful, famous blog post. And everybody chalked it up to George being slow. And, George is slow. He's a slow writer. If you read the books, they're very complicated. There are multiple books within one book. Okay, that's fine. I enjoy the hell out of them. I reread them. I get something new every time I read it. I love watching theory videos. There are so many really good YouTube channels out there that dive into the theories, and that's the kind of nerd stuff that I love. And the crazier the theory, the better. But I'm never attached to a theory. But I'm going to be attached to my theory right now. I think George R. Martin might be, I don't know if he's finished the book or he just stopped writing it because he saw what the showrunners were doing to his work and he just doesn't want it coming out. I don't think he wanted any more of his books being put into the show any more than the showrunners already knew, any more than it had to be.
I buy that. I totally buy that.
I think he straight up said, "Oh, it's delayed."
I bet he hasn't finished and he's sitting on it and waiting for the HBO series to finish. And then, wait like a few months, maybe a year, and then the book is going to come out. I mean, I don't follow the show, and that's already my theory behind it.
And who would blame him? I mean, he's taken a long time. People have gotten his ass. I've gotten his ass. But after seeing the show, I have flipped on how I feel about George right now. I've always loved George, but and it is clear in the article I just read. I did not know that he had a meeting with Dan and Dave, but it was 6 years ago, and they haven't really talked a lot in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And it's really obvious that the show has just gone off the rails because of that. God, what is it? Ideas of us. There's a channel, I believe it's called Ideas of Ice and Fire. I just watched his Euron sucks video or something like that, sucks in the show. And it's one of the best characters in the book. And he really explains very well how Euron in the show is a perfect example of like why the show sucks in this one character and why the book's character is so superior. And I can give theories on why they didn't want to make Euron an interesting character, because they didn't want him to outshine Cersei, which is just bad writing. And we get a lot of that in Doctor Who and Star Trek. We get writers who aren't talented, so they're afraid that one character might outshine the other one. Well, if you're a talented writer, You can make your character that you like outshine the other one without destroying the other one if you're talented.
Well, the other thing too is that you don't pick who's going to become popular, right? You know, that's you write something, it could be a side character, it could be the main character. Really, it's kind of up to the fans, not necessarily you.
That is so well said, and I've said that before, especially with when as it relates to Captain Marvel. You can't create an arc icon, you can't force something on the fans. I've said that a lot in the Star Trek videos. But all of a sudden, the writers think they can decide what is going to be popular or not. And
well, it's like Marvel tried it with Captain Marvel, and it failed miserably.
And they still try. They still try. And even with George, there's an example of George. Apparently, George doesn't like Theon, but Theon in the books has got one of the best storylines. He's got the best chapters in the latest books. He's got the best story arc. But George, I don't know this. I've heard this, that he doesn't like Theon, and that's really interesting because, I dig Theon. So yeah, it is my theory that George is not tanking it. He's just he's kind of ghosting him. How you doing with the book? Oh, it's really slow. And he goes and reads the finished copy a little bit and goes, that's good. Can't wait for this damn show to end.
gotta rejigger the flux capacitor a bit here. Should be good in about 10 years or so.
10 years or so. GRM doesn't like Theon. His chapter was the best in Dance. Cleveland Brown, I agree. I was a little shocked when I heard that, but I heard it from a very reliable YouTuber when it comes to George R. Martin and Song of Ice, Fire, Game of Thrones. Preston Jacobs. I've been watching his videos for years. He's got some out there theories, but it's undeniable the guy knows the book up and down, sideways and forward. I don't always agree with him on everything, but it's an entertaining channel. It really is. Let's get to a couple super chats, and so that's it. I don't know. I think you could put it in the realm of possibility, right? Comix Division.
Yeah, like I said, I'd buy it. It makes sense to me.
Let's get Motolicious for $5. Sonic looked like someone photoshopped annoying orange onto my pet monster.
Oh my god, that thing looks terrible.
I haven't thought about annoying orange in so long. I remember watching those videos with my kids. What was that, 10 years ago?
God, yeah. They're pretty funny.
Hey, hey, hey. Motolicious. Yeah. I have no feeling one way or the other on Sonic, but I really truly feel bad for the Sonic fans. And it's just another case of maybe some things are just better left alone. When we were kids, the final destination for our entertainment used to be the movies. If it made the movies, it made the big time. Our character is legit, and that means the thing we like is legit. Guess what? I think it delegitimizes characters now if they go to movies. I always stick with the source material. You guys will always have the original Sonic games, which by all accounts are great because they have the most insane following. I don't know about you, Comix Division. I don't know, but I sold the Sonic comics at my store. I sold so many of those comics. That was one of the most surprising things when I took over the store. I'm like, I sell how many Sonic comics here? It's like 50 a month. And I was like, what? That's like better than Thor,
That's fucking hilarious.
Weird. Yeah,
man.
Maybe it's the proximity to the school I was at or whatever. I didn't know. But I feel bad. But you know what? You guys have the original games. Of course, with Marvel Comics, we have the old comics. We still have the source material, which is still the best. And the MCU has been great, but it's made me appreciate comics even more. And it'll be fun watching the MCU go into the future with using their newer stuff as their source material. That'll be interesting.
It's gonna crash and burn.
Crash and burn. Psycho Dwarf, $5. People should not be punished for disagreeing with you ever. Who got punished? No, I absolutely agree with that. Nobody should be punished for disagreeing with me. You can simply disagree and it's all right. Now, as long as it's respectful, that's fine. But you can totally disagree with me. I don't believe I've who have I taken? I have kicked off a guy named SC from this channel because he was a Star Trek Discovery shill. He wasn't bringing anything to the conversation. He was just spamming my chat with CBS crap. So
Go figure.
Yep. But no, Psycho Dwarf 9. I agree with you 100%. Thank you for the super chat. Armchair Warlord, $2. Check out my novel, The Maiden's War, on Indiegogo. I will. Let's check it out real quick. Why not? This is some. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, I don't know if how close you've been paying attention to Twitter, but apparently there's this new novel coming out called Women's War. it's like from Del Rey, and it has like these this checklist. It's like strong woman check, fights the patriarchy check, and something else check. It's like, and this is a book no one's gonna fucking buy.
What's it about? I mean,
I don't know. It looks like a fantasy book.
I was thinking about making a video on my other channel. It sounded funny at the time, but I was in the gym. The endorphins were going, so maybe it's not that funny. But it was basically going to be a video asking for an all-female war, like an actual war. We need a female-led war. It is time. It is high time. We had
about time.
Yeah, we had a war that are all women, and Avengers Endgame inspired it. So, I think we should, the next war, the men should sit it out.
Yep.
And now I can hear the responses. There wouldn't be a war if it was just women. Oh, there would be. There absolutely would be.
Oh, come on, man. Women by far way more vicious than men.
I'd stay on the good side of Mrs. Nerdrotic all the time. Trust me. Talk about a warrior woman. All right, so here I'm pulling up the Indiegogo for you, and thank you for the super chat, Armchair Warlord. And I certainly and if you guys want me to plug you something, I'll check it out. You can just email me. It might take me a while to get to it, but I'll get to it, and I have no problem helping. People have helped me, so I like to pay it forward. I like to help people as much as I can. You don't have to super chat or anything, but it's greatly appreciated. So here we go. The Maiden's War, a military adventure from serving. Here we go. Right there's my all-female war. I ask and I receive right here. The Maiden's War, a novel. Right on. He's got $2,440. He's 48% away to 5,000. His flex goal. The Maiden's War is an epic 480-page war novel from Tyler Weaver, a veteran with 9 years of service as a United States Army officer. Tyler, thank you for your service. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much.
The Imperial Army has crossed the Night River and smashed the kingdom's strongest fortress. The opening blow is a massive invasion. The Royal Army mobilizes to fight back, but will they succeed against the Steel Masked Avalanche? This is a first in what I hope to be a series of at least 4 novels. Help me get started. So there you go, everybody. I'll pop the link in the description so you can see more details. Thank you for the super chat. And I love seeing independent works. And that was also, I like to sum up, excuse me, every live stream with a point, but I'll get to mine early. I really, 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 really think it's time for independent works. I think this reminds me a bit of the bloated 90s. And the 90s, you all remember who lived through it, was a great time for independent film. Probably one of the best, probably the best time for independent
I would completely agree. I mean, we got Kevin Smith because of the 90s.
Yeah. So I think we are in a very similar thing, but with all entertainment, music, comics, everything, video games, independent video games. I think that is the future because the big franchises are owned by big monolithic companies that work on this weird standard, and they're not going to take any risks. So we're going to start getting this homogenized shite. It's already starting to happen. And as much as I think we are making headway in the battle against the SJWism and stuff getting into our entertainment, it'll never fully be removed. Simply asking for stuff to get into the center seems to be an uphill battle, but the one way to beat it, and I think the Indiegogo thing with the comic books is related to this, is make your own stuff. And if you make it good enough, people will go, and then they are forced forced because social currency is more valuable right now than actual currency to these people until they have to pay the rent.
Yes, until they have to pay the rent. The other thing too, with technology, this is the great thing about where we are in 2019, is that it's so much easier for you to be a musician that self-publishes. It's not like it was back in the the 80s and 90s where you had to go to big record to get something out. If you're an independent filmmaker, because of digital cameras, you can do stuff. Because of PCs, you can make editing easier. Because of desktop publishing, you can create comic books. So yeah, we live in an amazing time when it comes to independent creativity. And we don't need to rely on, mainstream entertainment anymore. I mean, look at YouTube where you have all these independent journalists going out and reporting on stuff. And because of the failures of media right now, they're trying to quash that. And I think you see that in all areas of creativity, be it music, film and whatnot. If you're not part of the mainstream, they're going to try and crush you.
Yep, and they're trying, but we can just the one thing we can do as independent creators just keep putting out content. More people creating, the more people with YouTube channels, the better it is. It's not more competition. No, it's actually just more of us, and we need to simply outnumber them. That's it. A YouTube channel is not unlike a band, a rock band. It's got a shelf life. And you run with it as long as you can, or you try to evolve, or maybe you just do it for a couple of years and give up and do something else. But otherwise, it's a great hobby. I mean, just do something. And it's a great time to be creative. You're so right, man. There used to be I published my own comic book, and it's because it was back in the early 2000s. I had a little extra money. This is before I had kids. And late 90s, I had some extra money. I published my own comic book, got my friend to write it, and it was just for fun. And it was a hobby that cost me like $5,000, like which a lot of money back then, man, when I was in my late 20s and just, wasn't rolling in it. But it's something I wanted to do, and I never regretted doing it. I had so much fun doing it and collaborating with my friends, and nobody read the comic, and that's fine. I didn't care. I finished it. I finished actually 2 comic books. I never thought I'd get to do one. So Silhouetted Animator, the now fake leak scripts from episode 3 2 years ago had a lot of major character deaths, a retreat to the Eyrie, and Jon Snow stabbing the Night King and pushing him out of the moon door. That would have been awesome, right? That would have been brilliant.
Oh wow, that was the early leak of the original script. Oh Jesus!
I'll tell you all right now, because I'm really pissed off at the show now. I would never knowingly spoil anything for you guys. I might accidentally read a chat or something like that. You have to forgive me for that, but I would never knowingly do it. But there is one leak that I read last night that was put up 4 months ago, and it got episodes 1 to certain things. It was a brother of somebody who worked on one of the sets, and they got certain things dead on, including Arya killing the Night King, and that was 4 months ago posted. So everything after that has to be true. Has to be true, but he didn't get everything. It was only from one unit. So I'll just leave it there, but it's not easy to find. It is not. Actually, somebody sent it to me. I actually just read it before I went live with my Doom Patrol thing. I was like, what? Conan the Destroyer. Conan's awesome. I freaking love Conan. $1.99. By the way, Silhouetted Animator, thank you for the $20 super chat. Very generous. Thank you very much. Conan, back to Conan. $1.99. George R. R. Martin will never finish. He has lost the plot. It is called the Milanese Knot, and there is a Daenerys is in a land called Marine, and yes, it might go down in history as when a writer. It's not going to be writer's block anymore. It'll be called the Milanese Knot. You're not wrong, Conan. He might not finish. I don't think he's going to finish the book series. I think Wins a Winner will get finished. I do, because a lot of it was already written. That's the thing is, according to an email I got last night, Feast of Crows, A Dance with Dragons, and Winds of Winter were all supposed to be one book that turned into 3 parts, and a large portion of Winds of Winter was already done. There were chapters taken out of A Dance with Dragons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 9 or 10 sample chapters out there on the internet you can read. One of them called The Forsaken is the best chapter he's ever written. Period. It is so good. Oh God, I read it over and over again. As a matter of fact, I might be doing an ASMR version of it on my other channel for kicks. Jared Presley for $2. What solo movies would you want to see in Phase 4? That is a great question. Moon Knight, Namor,
She-Hulk for me.
She-Hulk, yeah, definitely She-Hulk. I would put that, if it's John Byrne She-Hulk, that would be number 1 on my list. Moon Knight would be second, but it'd have to be Psycho SJW Sankovic. His Moon Knight, as much of as a travesty as he is on Twitter, his old Moon Knight was amazing. I'm trying to think who else. Well, they're putting Ghost Rider on Hulu, but I'd love to see Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider.
I was about to say that too. Ghost Rider. Probably one of my favorite characters from Marvel.
Now, if Gabriel Luna rode a motorcycle, would that be different for you?
Would it be different? As in, would I like the character more?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the character per se. I think the whole car thing is stupid.
Yeah, the car thing is dumb. I think
I definitely think that the motorcycle probably would be definitely the way to go. Are they doing Gabriel Luna?
They're doing Gabriel Luna, and they clearly didn't want to do a white dude, and that's fine. But if they put him on a motorcycle and give him Johnny Blaze's origin, I'd kind of be okay with that. I'd be fine, whatever.
I don't think they didn't necessarily need to give Johnny Blaze's origin. I mean, they could be original with the character, but for me, the Ghost Rider needs to be on a fucking motorcycle.
No, they're redoing it. They're rebooting it from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because, and this is my theory, Johnny Blaze gives him his powers in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they wouldn't want a white dude giving him his power. I don't think I'm wrong on that one.
No, I don't think you're wrong either.
Thank you, Jared. Great question. I would love to see a bunch of solo movies now, but if I have to see a team, I would love to see the proper Defenders with the Hulk, Namor, Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange, the real Valkyrie, but I know I'll never get it because that was my favorite team book. I love that book. Or the Supernaturals with Brother Voodoo, Ghost Rider, Son of Satan, Get Werewolf by Night, or the Man Thing.
Yeah, Son of Satan would be a good movie too.
Yeah, well, they're doing Hellstrom. They're doing a Hellstrom series. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hellstrom, sorry. Elliot, but I like him as Son of Satan. I don't like the new 90s. I like the pentagram and the feathered red hair.
I thought he still had all of that when he was just Damien Hellstrom. I mean, he was still the son of Satan, but he always
the early 2000s one.
The one I have was from the 90s, where it was like the cover almost looked kind of like parchment, which it wasn't. It's a badass book, and he still has the pentagram and everything.
I dig Son of Satan, man.
Midnight Suns would be cool. Yeah, Midnight Suns.
Oh, remember that Punisher, Ghost Rider, Wolverine book? Oh, that was so good. That was so good. It was Dark Sun. I can't remember it now. It was really good, but not that good because I can't remember it, or maybe I'm just old. Elliot Nelson, $10. Things like Game of Thrones being a letdown, Avengers going woke, and Star Wars being terrible make it hard to try and invest in new shows and movies. I'm worried for The Expanse. What's left? Elliot, I'm extremely worried for The Expanse. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna tell you everything's sunshine and rainbows. That show it teeters on it anyway, and they've to their credit have done a great job not going that route, but it might be very tempting. I don't know. I hope not. Rand Shankar, though, is one of the best writers out there. He was on Deep Space Nine. He was involved with Farscape, and he should be running Star Trek right now.
This is funny. Dr. Meatball says, I think you mean Midnight Daughters Comix Division. It's
2019. That's going to happen.
Oh, fuck.
Somebody even asked me, like, what about the female Ghost Rider? I'm all season 2. Season 2. I don't watch The Flash on CW anymore, but apparently, who was it? God, somebody tweeted it yesterday that like the Flash isn't even in his own show anymore. It's about his daughter and
oh my God,
the girl from Black Sails. And I totally saw that coming. It's like all they were talking about. It's like, you know, and they did the same thing with Iron Fist. They turned it into Colleen Wing's TV show. And
I'll be honest with you, I found her more interesting than
no,
what's his name?
I couldn't stand it. I know people like her because she's pretty, but like she wasn't in superhero shape at all.
No,
she looked like she got back from soccer practice.
That show is just terrible to begin with. I mean, the guy who played Danny Rand did a much better job in season 2, but I just really wasn't terribly a huge fan of Iron Fist.
The show sucked. Captain Spire, $10. Arthur C. Clarke was approached to make a movie from the novel Rendezvous with Rama, but refused. He feared Hollywood would ruin the core of the characters and the substance of the series. Good choice. Arthur C. Clarke was a genius. Absolute genius.
Yep.
And he had some very interesting theories, by the way. Well, he put them in some of his books. But Arthur C. Clarke liked the woo-woo. He did. He really did. And absolute genius. Retracted message. And we had 25,000 or 25,000, 2,500 CLPs. I don't know what a CLP is. I'm sorry if the message was retracted by YouTube. My apologies. But that was not retracted by me. But thank you. Peter Davison, Australian, $5. Pirates on board? What kind of pirates? You got to be very specific with your pirates, especially here in San Francisco.
Because they could be but pirates.
Or they could be pirating comic books or something.
Yeah.
Peter Davison, Australian, $5. Oh, yes, I sent a parcel. Might have arrived. Oh. I did not go by my P.O. box today. I was busy editing. Speaking of butts, I don't know, you don't watch Doom Patrol, but at the end of Doom Patrol, a pack of sentient butts attacked a base, and the butt cracks were mouths, and they were eating people. So it was just like these big asses with legs.
It's like Assy McGee in real life.
Bite sideways, and it was very, very disturbing. I
have to start watching that show just to see it.
There's 2 really stupid woke episodes that you just want to bang your head, and then the rest of it's pretty damn good. It gets a little heavy on the Larry is gay stuff. It gets worse than you didn't watch Doctor Who, but Bill in Doctor Who was always telling everybody every 5 minutes she was a lesbian. It's kind of the same situation with Larry, but they at least brought the story to an end. Finally. Mike Brown, $2. Also looking for more backers to help my books. Well, is it on Indiegogo, Mike? Or is it on I know it's on Amazon. But yeah, if somebody could put Mike Brown's books are on Amazon, and they are the Atlantis Chronicles. Check them out. Gamer Gambit, $5. Would rock if you check out mine 917 subs and science-based channel with it is named Matthew Shipley. Picture is me in uniform in Saddam Hussein's chair in Iraq. No way. You're not related to Greg Shipley, are you, Matthew? Greg Shipley from Pixar. Yeah, check it out. Gamer Gambit. That's the name of your channel, right? Gamer Gambit. Yeah, check it out. Mike Brown, My Atlantis Chronicles has a Patreon. Neurotic is also looking for member backers to help with the books. So Atlantis Chronicles on Patreon. Check it out. Felipe Abrigo. 5,000 Chile. It's Chilean dollars. Hey, Gary, greetings from Chile. Directly from the Earth's ass. Have you noticed on Star Trek Discovery on the ship bots, they are particles floating around like in a sea? Yes, the vacuum of space. So stupid. So they have particles floating around the robots while they're out there. Well, they had a shooting star in space, Felipe, and they had sonar in space, and they had an artificial intelligence that was already an artificial intelligence looking to be an artificial intelligence. And then they turned their main character into an effing superhero because superheroes are so hot right now. Dumbest show ever. And
what's wrong with a shooting star in space?
a shooting star in space, brother.
Oh, did somebody fail basic science class? I mean, what the fuck is that?
I am currently working on my season 2 review, and again, I'm channeling my inner Mauler on this one, so it's going to take a long time because there is so much dumb stuff, and I don't, because I skipped a bunch of it in my weekly reviews. I mean, this might be a 2-hour video. I don't know if anybody's going to watch it, but I want to make sure I catch everything.
Oh, break it up into parts, man. Break it up into parts.
So bad. Oh my God. Doomcock did a great first part review for the 14th episode. Do watch that video. He freaking rips it a new one. He's so good at that. But I'm going to try to, I don't know if you can rip a new asshole for Star Trek Discovery, but I'm going to try.
It probably has multiple assholes at this point.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure they're all the writers.
I got to double check their, there's a YouTuber who doesn't mention me or Midnight's Edge or Doomcock by name, but he continually rips us without mentioning us by name. Teresa
is
Martin,
this like Miss TARDIS or something like that? Or
no, he mentioned me by name. I still got to do a response video for that. I got to wait till for a time I'm dry for content, then I'll take my swipe at them. Teresa Martin, thank you for the $1.99 donation. I greatly appreciate it. Tech Guy, Teresa, you got a question? You can pop it into the chat, hit @Nerderotic, and I'll read it. Thank you, Teresa. Tech Guy, $5. I haven't watched past the first episode of the Orville. Should I really commit to watch all of them? Should I watch Westworld season 1? No, watch the Orville. I'll tell you why. Westworld season 1 is genius, and season 2 is the worst woke shit I've ever seen. So Westworld 2 is a great example of the turning of when things changed. Because in 2015, when they actually shot it in 2013 and 14, took a year and then put it out. So you could tell it was made at a different time when we were just like looking to entertain, and while still subverting expectations, while still showing strong female characters, but we were just telling a basic story because we weren't trying to make all the men look bad. But in season 2, they're like, oh, we forgot to make all the men look bad.
Oh, darn. It's a good example of a series getting really fucking drunk, passing out, and shitting the bed.
Yep. and before they got drunk, they were the life of the party. They got the cutest girls looking at them, all the guys listening to them, every joke delivery hit perfect. It was just, and then it just didn't stop drinking, and like you said, crapped itself. And it sucks now, and it really did suck. What sucked about it was you thought there would be some twist at the end, so I stuck with it, and there is a good episode in there, I won't lie, but the ending misses so hard. It's so like, what? Kind of like Game of Thrones last week. Silhouetted animator for $10. The ending of Endgame could set up a Kang, especially how Spoiler was able to break time rules and make it back to the main timeline branch. Within said rules, it would be dimension hopping. The character Spoiler. Here's why they won't use Kang, the name.
Because of it's the name and it's Asian sounding. Asian stereotype. Yeah.
Yep. They absolutely will not use that name. They might call him the Conqueror. The thing is, you could do that, but they are, you know what? Endgame, despite all the love it's getting, is getting tons of criticism for the time travel. Time travel is a cheap way out. Yes, it's part of the Marvel universe. And yes, I like Kang the Conqueror. He is a OG Avengers villain. That's very good. You could make that, you could turn that into Iron Lad, and you could do the Young Avengers, which I love the first series. I thought it was great. I really hate how they got rid of Iron Lad though. That's interesting. I think they are definitely, it's without a doubt, they are setting up a multiverse. If you listen to the Ancient One, she set it out for you.
Yeah.
She said, if you don't put the stones exactly back where they were before, it creates an alternate timeline. Well, Loki took off with a stone.
Yep.
So there you go. And that's the premise for a show. And by the way, the Loki show is supposed to be basically Marvel's Doctor Who. What a ripoff, by the way.
Yeah.
Can't you? Honestly, as much as I'm mad at Marvel and Disney, Doctor Who they would probably do a better job at Doctor Who.
I don't know, man. I think at this point, with everything getting woke, I mean, why would you trust them with a franchise? I mean,
no, I wouldn't.
We all know that the MCU is getting woke. You know, Star Wars has already gotten woke, and why would Doctor Who be any different?
The MCU, by the way, is woke. It's not going. It is. Captain Marvel was the first shot. It already happened. So for anybody, guy, I love Anti-Trekker, but he keeps on saying, I didn't say anything wrong with Captain Marvel. It's like, you're not looking.
You are not paying attention.
Especially somebody who, like him, who grinds on Star Trek Discovery. It's like, it's the same beats. It's the exact same beats.
Well, the other thing too, when you have, feminists pointing out the exact same points I've made, then it's pretty clear that's the case.
And maybe he's thinking SJW and not feminism, the intersectional feminism, which I mean,
it's pretty much
it's under the same banner, but there is a difference.
There is. It's a different flavor of social justice, but it is intersectional feminism. We still call them SJWs.
What flavor is it? Like upper ass crack ice cream, or
I don't know. I think it might be the scissoring variety. I don't know.
Scissor Sisters,
and
chunks. Here we go. Shane Carroll May for $2. Do you think Game of Thrones has any chance of a good ending now? No. I'll be honest with you. No,
probably not.
And I'll ask what I asked in the video. Do you give a wet slap about the throne? So I thought I made a really good analogy in the video. I was patting myself on the back about that one. You just watched the Super Bowl and we're getting ready for the Pro Bowl. That's it. The stakes are not the same. The stakes were the world. It was living versus the dead, the great uniter, the others coming, the unstoppable enemy. But according to Cecil, it was always meant to end with the blade of an assassin. I'm sorry, I sound like Marlon Brando Cecil right there. I'm going to make him an offer he couldn't refuse. I don't know. I had Cecil's voice the other day. Really good. But I love Cecil. Cecil's love. Don't get me wrong. Cecil's love. But he's just wrong on this one thing. And so, yeah, we're who cares about the throne? And it was clearly Dave and Dan wanting to rush it, get it over with, and get back to what they're comfortable with, which is the politicking. The problem is they're not good at the politicking either. It was George who was writing all the good. They didn't write the red freaking wedding. And honestly, I didn't even mind the scene until Mahler pointed it out and completely ruined it for me. But Tyrion, shooting his dad in the privy, and probably because I had it mixed up with the books in my head, the main motivation for him shooting his dad in the books is because his dad basically had a legion of Lannister troops gang rape his wife to punish her because he thought his wife wasn't really in love with him. She was just using him for Lannister gold, and he thought she was a hooker. Well, it turns out she was Tyrion off about it. Wasn't Shay just reminded him of Tasha, and they left that out in the show, which is the main motivation for him. Otherwise, he has no reason to really shoot him. And honestly, I didn't think about it until Mahler brought up. I'm like, God damn, you're right. That was stupid. And that is the difference. And all they had to do was tell the story of Tasha. Now, he did briefly in season 1, but you tell it again. It takes 30 seconds and it makes the scene completely different instead of him just randomly going back to shoot his dad on the privy. So no, I don't. These guys just aren't good at storytelling. And I think I laid out a pretty good. I would love there to be a good ending. But now that I may know it, I just don't think there's a chance. I could be wrong. It could be all. Even the guy in the spoiler said the stuff he said, they did shoot fake scenes, so it might have been a fake scene. So I don't know. But I mean, maybe the White Walkers came back. Dan and Dave were asked directly by Jimmy Kimmel, or have we seen the last of the White Walkers? And they said, we're not going to answer that, but of course they're not going to answer that either way. So I don't know. But it would be awfully lame if the Night King comes flying out of the sky, like at the, in the last episode or something like that. But honestly, it'd be better than what we're getting. I don't know. I just, that was so lame. And hey, if we're jumping the gun, I will admit it. If they rally and bring back the whites and everything in a very intelligent way and it's entertaining, I will be making a video apologizing and saying I was wrong. I jumped the gun. It turned out to be good. I'm just pretty damn sure that's not going to happen. And that sucks.
That's the other thing too. If they were to pull this like 10 years ago, nobody would be giving a shit. But because of all the identity politics and, the Me Too stuff and the way, the swinging of the pendulum, it's hard not to see it and get pissed off about it because of what's going on. Like I said, if it was just like an isolated incident, nobody would really people would be pissed, but they wouldn't be as pissed because of what's going on.
Yeah, and it factored into it. I'm not saying it's the main reason, and I still get clapback for that, but I mean, it absolutely weighed into their decision. It did.
Oh, absolutely.
It freaking did. I mean, this show is kind of a patriarchy smasher anyway with Cersei. I mean, that's from the books. So it's already in the story. You didn't need to amp it up 50 times and just derail everybody's character, which is what they did. And this is because of that new currency, that social currency that is more important than money or your legacy as creators. Plus, HBO and Dan and Dave thought that people would just slop up whatever they handed to them. And can you argue that they got 12 million overnight viewers? So, and they'll get just as much this weekend. But I think some people might be hate watching at this point. I'm going to finish because I got to finish. I mean,
Well, if you're reviewing it, it's like us with the MCU. I mean, we're gonna go see the MCU movies because we're gonna report on it. Mainly just to let people know whether they should go see it or not.
Motolicious for $2 asked the question: when do we get a Snowflame live action? Do I know what a Snowflame is? I don't know what a Snowflame is. I'm gonna look it up. All I'm gonna say is, oh, there we go. That's a deep cut there, buddy. I am Snowflame. Every cell of my being burns with white hot ecstasy. Cocaine is my god, and I am a human instrument. That as well. Snowflame from the New Guardians. That's so funny. I want this movie now. Snowflame is a drug-powered supervillain who fought the New Guardians in Colombia. Oh man, yeah, this is just, I missed this one, man. defeating and almost killing them in their second battle with the New Guardians, attacking Snowflame and his followers as he compounded and threw him into a chemical shed and exploded, killing him. Snowflame, DC, dude, Snowflame. Hey. The New Guardians. This when did it come out?
James Gunn would be perfect for a movie like that. If you haven't seen Super, you have to see it. Oh
yeah, God, this came out in 1988. That is hilarious. So I was not reading the New Guardians when I was 18, and I swear to God, I've been in comics all my life. I never freaking heard of Snowflame like till right now. And now he's my favorite because one of his powers is cocaine touch. Touching Snowflake is sufficient to be given a to give the Floronic Mad a contact high. So if you touch Snowflame, you get high. Here, I'm going to read this. Oh, bless your heart for sharing this with me. This just made my fucking day. I want to make a Snowflame comic right now. Oh my God, that's so fucking beautiful. I love comic books. Yeah, you know what? This would be perfect for Doom Patrol. You just had butts running around. Why not Snowflame? I am
That's
Snowflame.
great.
Every cell of my being burns with the white hot ecstasy. Cocaine is my god, and I am the human instrument of its will. Snowflame is a drug-powered supervillain who fought the new Guardians in Colombia. What is unique physiology? Gains superpowers upon snorting cocaine. Superhuman strength, superhuman speed, immunity to pain, pyrokinesis.
Why does this sound like a Mystery Men villain?
Totally. Cocaine touch. Weaknesses, drug addiction.
You think? Superhuman speed. Well, doing a lot of cocaine, I guess that would do it to you.
Oh my God. Beautiful. This is my new Facebook profile picture, dude. Straight up. Snowflame. There we go. Little.
Oh, that's you need to commission someone to draw that.
We need a Snowflame comic, folks. Let's make this happen.
We have to demand it from DC. Fucking A, man. I mean, might as well, considering like all their other Vertigo books are fucking failing right now.
Yeah. Well, they would probably make Snowflame like a Orange Man allegory or something like that. I don't know.
Probably. He's already kind of orange looking.
Yeah. Modalicious, bless your heart. Thank you for really, like, you made me laugh. That was good. Nathan O'Brien, 199. Last fight in HBO Barry more epic than Game of Thrones End War. Yeah, it probably was. And another great analogy. Thank you very much, Nathan. I appreciate it. Another great analogy I thought I made is remember when everybody was worried that Captain Marvel was going to Deus Ex Machina Thanos at the end of Endgame? That's what happened in Game of Thrones. That's straight up what happened. It was, imagine Captain America not being able to get to Thanos because he's being held back by Ebony Maw or something.
Yeah.
And the rest of the superheroes are all tied up. And Iron Man, his suit fails him and he's laying on the ground. And then Captain Marvel comes in and kills Thanos.
Well, that's the thing is we almost got that moment, you know, I mean, thank God that they didn't execute on that, but we almost got it.
You know what? I just thought, like, it wouldn't have made the episode much better. It just hit my head, though. Say Arya comes in, right, and distracts the Night King. He grabs her by the neck, and instead of her, you know, stabbing him, say she tries her move and he stops her, and he's about to kill her. Then Bran finally decides to do something and wargs into something there to distract the Night King again. Then a deep, you know, a mortally wounded Theon gets up and he attacks the Night King. Jon makes it there and they just pummel him. And it's like, it's all the Stark kids except for Sansa, of course. And it's a dying Theon, Jon Snow, and Arya and Bran warging into whatever. And then you give Arya the kill with like, that would have been much better than boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying
because at that point it's a team effort.
Yeah, and it's like all the that would have been that would have changed everything. But no, we chose Arya because it wasn't expected and it had nothing to do with her being a girl. Not at all. No, that did not factor into the decision at all. There's still people arguing with me on that. It's like, come on. I know not everybody's been paying attention to everybody's show. And Rebecca Gold brought this up last live stream. And Rebecca Gold's right. The common man on the streets and woman on the street, they don't really know about this stuff yet.
Yeah.
The normies, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And, you know, there you go. Nicholas Horton for £2. What's up, Nicholas? Annihilus as one of the next villains. That's kind of what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to like do a stinger with Annihilus. Now that we've had the, you know, okay. So when the Ancient One shows Professor Hulk that other timeline, did you notice it was dark?
Yeah.
So I got the vibe of like the dark, just the Annihilus' dimension, the like a negative zone, and that's the vibe I got. Somebody made it really caught. I think What a Culture did a video on this, and I didn't even think about this, but that earthquake scene in Endgame where Black Widow's like really like there was an earthquake in the ocean. What are you going to do about it? She's all, we're not going to do anything. It was an earthquake. And I always thought that was weird. I'm like, why was that there? That was freaking a Namor Easter egg.
Oh,
I'm like, because like it stood out. I'm like, who cares? And, I mean, in the scene by itself, it sounds like she's just being a little too paranoid, and she's just trying, she's very upset, and she's just being kind of spun. And that's how I kind of took it. But once they pointed out that was a very soft Namor Easter egg, I went, oh, that was cool. Jason Reed, $10. Game of Thrones, Qyburn is Hand of the Queen, Master of Whispers, and Grand Meister. No one noticed Anton Lesser is never seen in interviews. What if he is the twist and he's the real Night King? That would they would have had to set that up. See, Qyburn is very mysterious in the books. So in the books, folks, and I'm sure you know this, there is no Night King, and they're setting up a bad guy named Euron Greyjoy, who's basically like a sorcerer pirate, and he's going to be your big bad. And I'm thinking, this is just my theory from reading the books, is nobody knows why the others started showing up now. Well, I think it coincided with, and this is just in the books, with Euron got banished from the Iron Islands for raping his brother's sister by Balon. He's Theon's uncle, by the way. So he was banished and he became a pirate. And he went to Valeria. Well, of course, Valeria is basically the Atlantis of Game of Thrones. It blew up 3 years ago. Nobody knows why. And it used to be the most advanced civilization on Planetos. They're the ones with all the dragons, and Targaryens are Valerians. They're the last of the Valerians. Nobody goes. It's so cursed in Valeria that nobody even sails within miles of it. They say the sea boils and there's demons running around. And well, Euron went there, sailed there, came back with a dragon binding horn, knowledge of blood magic, and a Valerian steel armor suit. And he's been kidnapping heads of religions to practice blood rituals on them. And he's just a real freaking fantasy bad guy. That's your big, well, they're setting him up to be the big bad. So I don't think there's going to be a Night King, but I think maybe the others' appearance have something to do with Euron effing around with certain types of magic, when magic has been, for all intents and purposes, dormant in the Game of Thrones world for at least 100 years, since the death of the last dragon. So they never talked about that stuff at all. And yeah, there's certain ways they could have done that. They really made a lot of bad choices at the end. I know I'm Monday morning quarterbacking, but that's why people come to YouTube. So I'm not going to apologize for that. Tech Guy, $2. So is Night King alive? How can a knife kill him? No, he is dead. He is not coming back. He is dead. Dead. They finished up a storyline, not coming back. Now that could be a big lie. And honestly, we haven't seen a bunch of scenes from the next 3 episodes, but I'm just trying to prepare folks for.
This is the series finale, right? This season.
We're coming up in the series finale, and just look what you've gotten in the last couple years. You've gotten really rushed endings that don't feel right in your stomach. They don't feel like Littlefinger, who was the true villain of Game of Thrones, got dispatched in the worst way. And that bothered people. At first they're like, yay, he's dead. Then they're like, he really shouldn't have gone out like that. Scaro Trek. Good to see you, my friend. $5. I am tired of people fighting for royal succession. I feel that Game of Thrones should end with 7 independent democratic republics. Yeah, it was supposed to be. Remember, Daenerys said, break the wheel. Well, now she's just going to be part of it again. Gamer Gam, thank you, Scarlet Trek. I agree. Gamer Gam at $2. Bran will be king. Ending scene. I'm going now. Right. That's the Nerdrotic dogs in the background singing their song.
As they do.
As they do when Mrs. Nerdrotic comes home. Silhouetted animator for $10. I think it's kind of brilliant how one selfish decision made by the most selfless character in the MCU is what could have set up the next big bad. Ooh, almost a reverse of what happened with Kang in Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Ah, that's interesting, silhouetted animator. I love how you put it like that. And you know what? I think they would blame Cap for that too. I think they would totally like make a point to blame Cap.
Probably.
That is interesting. I got my brain turning there a little bit. Thank you for the $10. Matthew Matson, $1.99. Your theory, Bran wargs Ghost to distract the Night King. Yes. There you go. See, we're working together here, Matthew. So Bran wargs into Ghost to help Arya, and then Theon just gets, his last life's blood. He is not going to let her fall on his watch, and he runs over and does something to, to get him off of Arya, and then he gets like a fatal blow or something like that, and then Jon shows up. Jon goes in, the Night King pummels him. Give him like 30 seconds, a ding, 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 and then he pummels Jon, and then Arya can go, and kill him. And with Ghost right there biting his leg or something like that. But you have all those generals sitting there too. So you could have other people fighting like Tormund, and you could bring another bright, we got robbed of Brienne of Tarth, who was supposed to be one of the baddest asses in Westeros. Strong female character. We never got to see her truly. She fought the Hound. Okay. That was a good fight scene. Right. And we haven't seen much since, like a long drawn out battle. And I love Brienne as a character, Brienne of Tarth. I think she is a really well written. She's kind of an oaf, but lovable and good and noble. And she will also kill you dead. But she's also, they physically explain it. She's like a beast. She's, 6 something. She's almost as big as the Hound. So,
Cleveland Brown just said something. I've kind of tossed this idea around too. Says we'll have Hydra Cap in the future MCU movies. Just wait.
I totally agree.
Considering they made Cap old, and they passed the shield on to Falcon. Yeah, I mean they have the story written for them. Why wouldn't they use it?
Well, I'm just wondering why, if they wanted to pass a mantle down to a person of color, Iron Man was
absolutely
right there.
Rhodey's man. Well, but
if Rhodey became Iron Man after Tony died, nobody would have a problem with that.
No, but they're gonna bring in Riri. That's the reason.
Yeah,
why.
Exactly. And that would actually make sense because it actually happened in the comics, and people liked Rhodey.
But that makes too much sense, though.
I know. Well, they also
2019, man.
They've also gone back in time and pulled out a younger Tony Stark, which they could totally do as well. And they've done an old Cap, so the possibilities are endless. But unfortunately, we're going to get the all new different first. We're going to have to sit through that, and hopefully, honestly, I'm not going to sit through it. If they actually like put a Riri thing to screen, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to give them money. No way. I support that. Windfalla, $5. I love Arya as do I. But it would have been more in the spirit of Game of Thrones if it had Arya by the neck and Jon was somehow forced to run her through to kill him. Yeah. Listen, I agree with that. It would have been more Game of Thrones if the Night King snapped her neck right there and then, while she was doing her little, and then she stabs him in the gut and it does nothing. It does zero. Because the question has to be asked. Valyrian steel and dragon glass. Now dragon glass is obsidian. It's volcanic rock made with flame and hot magma. and
liquid hot magma.
Liquid hot magma. And Valyrian steel is forged in dragon fire, yet he was dragon fire proof, yet the Valyrian steel knife killed him. It is my belief that if the dragons go after the others in the books, the others will just make it so effing cold it'll be impossible for the dragons to fly or do anything because they have a strong aversion to the cold. They can't last long in it. So, and they honestly, this gets mentioned in Fire and Blood. There is a Targaryen queen who goes to visit the wall, and she tries to fly past the wall, and the dragon can't fly past the wall. Won't do it because it can't because of the magics. Matt McCoy, what's up, Matt? $20. I worked with Matt at Chrysler. He's a good dude. He's a punk rock singer. He's a punk rock singer. Keep up the good work, man. We should get food soon. Yes. Are you still up in Marin? Are you up in Marin or like near Novato? Yeah, I can come up there. I was just up there the other day. The thing that should not be, by the way, thank you for the email. I got it. I read it. It was very interesting. He sent me a really good email about George R. R. Martin and the history of what's gone on between George and the show and everything. Targaryens were the last surviving Valyrian dragon lords. There are many pure-blooded Valyrians, and the 9 free cities descended the non-dragon lords. Yes, and there's actually some Valyrian blood in Westeros too. There's the Valyrian family. There are
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
What's that?
Bad Bunny, Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yeah, hey, I like that movie, dude.
I liked it too. I thought it was cute.
I loved the comic book Valerian and the Lorelei.
Yeah.
Is some of the best shit I've ever read, period. It's available pretty cheap too. They got some hardbound volumes. I think it's up to 6 or 7 now. They rebound them. It's on Amazon and it's like cheap for a hardcover. It's great. Thank you. The thing that should not be. Some nobody, $5. None of these two say good, sincere SJW art doesn't exist. What is this? None of this two says good, sincere SJW art doesn't exist. You can tell a great story about almost anything if you aren't hijacking IPs to write propaganda. Yeah, some nobody. I totally agree, man. The thing is, because you go into your story, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You go into your story not wanting to tell a story. You want to get a message across. It's a platform. It's not. It's not an art form. Yeah, there's platform and art form. None the two shall mix. I totally agree. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Rad Willie, $2. HBO, what do we say to the good writing, D&D? Not today. Yeah, that's a play on what do you say to the god of death? Not today. That's funny, Rad Willie. Thank you. Matt McCoy, $20. No, my friend, I am full-time musician again. Good. Playing some shows with Green Day next month. See, I told you he was a punk rock singer. And just posted up some music videos on YouTube. On topic, was it just me or was last week's episode too dark to see anything happening? No, it wasn't just you. And a bunch of people have been trying to explain it away and say it was blaming the fans or get a more expensive TV. How would you like to hear that from all the, everybody in Hollywood who wants to talk about inclusivity and everything? Their answer is buy a more expensive TV. No,
holy fucking shit.
Don't crush the fucking blacks, you asshole. You know what? It's just bad post-production.
Well, you can crush it, but just don't overdo it.
They overdid it. Okay, let's get to those articles, man. What do you want to do first? Let's do the Mary Sue.
Yeah, the Mary Sue one is probably. I haven't gotten through all of it, but that first like 2 or 3 paragraphs is pretty entertaining because of how stupid it is.
That's a good Wonder Woman. Is that George Perez?
I don't
Is
know.
that Perez? Maybe.
I have like ad block on, so I don't see anything.
Uh,
Yeah, that doesn't pop up for me.
That doesn't look. I'm not sure. It's a good Wonder Woman though.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, the Mary Sue, who writes articles. 10 years later, I still love J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek for what it taught me about fandom. Oh my God. I'm going to have to hang on. I got to bookmark that for later.
Yeah. The Mary
Yeah.
Sue.
Thanks for the video, Mary Sue.
Yeah. They are
Avengers.
cheap fodder, man. They are great fodder for videos.
Oh man, I think this is a troll site. It's got to be.
No,
Avengers
it's not, because they're intersectional feminist.
Intersexual. I always want to say intersexual feminism.
It might as well be.
Yep. Avengers Endgame exposes how Marvel can't handle powerful women.
Yawn.
Spoilers for Avengers Endgame. From what I've been told about Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, it was established in her solo movie that she's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's whole universe. Yet people are feeling as if the character was underserved in Avengers Endgame along with the rest of Marvel's women. Full disclosure, I personally haven't seen Captain Marvel, and part of why is she writing an article?
Exactly.
Let's go on. Full disclosure, I personally haven't seen Captain Marvel, and part of the delay has been that despite all of the overall despite
folks, this is
all the
priceless.
overall importance of the movie in terms of their finally being a female standalone superhero heroine movie.
My personal favorite is that, okay, if it's important, then why didn't you see it? Because if it's not important, then obviously it's not important.
Comix Division asks the question he knows the answer to, because these people don't buy this shit. They just want to talk about it. They just want to change it. They want to influence. But I think it's sometimes it's despicable. It's people like being insidious and wanting to be, chaos agents and stuff. And then I just think it's part of the daycare culture that they just want to reap the benefits of everything without having to do anything for
work. Yeah. The other thing too, what's really funny is Princess Weeks constantly complains how she's the only queer person of color who works for the Mary Sue. And the Mary Sue, by the way, is composed of all women, and the majority of them are probably lesbians. According to her, the majority of them are lesbians. Queer, as she would say. I have no idea what that word means anymore.
So being, okay, I got to read that again. Just despite all the overall importance of the movie in terms of their finally being a female standalone superhero movie, is that it's so funny that there's a Wonder Woman ad right there. And I'm not personally interested in the character. Well, nobody is, like you said. Not seeing how another white, cis, unconfirmed queer heroine is moving the representation needle in any real way.
This is the thing I find so funny about this. It's like, clearly she doesn't go to movies for entertainment purposes. She goes to them for political reasons.
For representation.
Yeah.
So that sentence right there, remember what I said earlier about the time of the independent is coming? It's because of this highlighted sentence now.
Yep.
And you almost have to feel bad for the movie theaters. They have been capitulating to these very few people for so long. They are going to put themselves, I mean, like, I'm not kidding. Hollywood might put themselves out of effing business from this shit. If you keep making this crap, there's got to be a backlash to it, or they'll listen. The need will get filled somehow, some way. Not seeing how another white, cis, unconfirmed queer heroine is moving representation needle in any way. I'm not discounting the meaning of it for fans. And I know plenty of women of color who love Carol and all the queer hype around her hair and subtext. But to me, all the support with subtext is why the Russo brothers, though that queer moment in Endgame was worth a damn, That being said, as a critic of someone who cares about representation and diversity, how I feel about Carol doesn't matter when looking at how her treatment exposes the issues within the MCU. Watching Carol in Endgame, I understood why they put her off-world. It's a lazy writing technique, and considered that the end credit scene in Infinity War was all about summoning her. I don't think it does justice to the hype around her. However, as people said, Captain Marvel actually coming out, having Carol there sort of leaves no room for the other heroes to be anything in the movie that's supposed to send off many of them. It's a hole they dug, but there it is. It just shows how white and male the earlier phases were and how much better they need to be.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm sorry. Let's parse that sentence a little bit.
Well, that's the thing I find so funny about all this. She's complaining about this. It's like, these are the characters that they based off of. These are the legacy Marvel characters: Captain Marvel, Thor, Iron Man. I mean, come on. These are some of the most popular characters, and you're complaining about using them in a film.
And you're complaining about half the population.
Yeah.
So this is a bigot. Still, I mean, it's just you live long enough to see some weird shit, and not that I'm even that old, because I'm not, but yeah, the bigotry has just changed hands, man. It's weird. Still, at least Carol is I mean, in some cases, not, I mean, like, let's not broadly generalize here. Not everybody in the South was a bigot, and not everybody in the North was down with you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still, at least Carol, I mean, there's okay, yeah. Still, at least Carol is gone because she's trying to help save the universe. Why isn't Okoye in the movie? I couldn't tell
because it's not her fucking movie. First off, it's a send off to the original characters.
It was bad enough fans had to fight for Danae to be acknowledged properly in early posters. It wasn't even made clear who was running Wakanda post Infinity War, despite the fact that the majority of who was running the planet. Where were I mean, there was a giant superhero battle happening in upstate New York. Where was the military? Where was, I mean, like, the battle went on for a while. Some jets would have shown up, believe me. You want to know why? It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
Despite
exactly.
the fact that the majority of the fighting of the movie took place there, we know from visual confirmation that both T'Challa and Shuri were lost in the snap. But the only confirmation about Queen Ramonda is at the end with her children, with no mention whether she was snapped with them or not. We only see Okoye in one scene, despite her being on Earth and part of Natasha's squad. And there isn't even an explanation offered why she's not coming to help because of Wakanda. She's just forgotten until a big damn hero scene in the final act. Despite the group shot of all the women, it just jumped on me. Despite the group shot of all the women in the MCU together around Carol, the issue is bigger than her. It has to do with the fact that they think these moments make up for their lack of diversity in the universe overall. Making Valkyrie a queen is a little compensation when they didn't even make the time to confirm her sexuality as canon. I need to see her going down on Brie Larson and during her coronation, and then I'll be okay.
Well, and it goes back to I think what you said. Social justice is the beast that is never satiated. It's always hungry, and all it wants to do is consume until nothing is left.
It is a singularity of suck. It is a giant mouth that you could never fill and feed, because these are just chaos agents. These are just people who make a living stirring the pot, will never be happy with anything until this heteronormative world is completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Well,
The funny thing, all the points she's making is completely irrelevant to the film, because this is a fucking Black Panther 2, man. I mean, if you want to talk about the stuff addressing Black Panther 2, by all means, but
she's a nerd writer, and the Mary Sue's supposed to be about, there's no references to, like, when I read this when I was young, because she doesn't read any of this shit. She didn't go to see Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And listen, and that's exactly it. They're just, let me just get through this before I get a
It's terrible, man. It's absolutely terrible. But this is the Mary Sue. This is what we get.
This is what you get, Disney. This is what you get. Guess what? All your little pandering, your female scene, making Valkyrie queen, making Thor fat and stupid, making a pacifist Hulk, bringing in Brie Larson, did dick.
Yeah, and Cosmo James, man, I don't think it's trolls, man. I think they legit believe this stuff.
No, they believe. Listen, I live up here. You know, I mean, well, you're in some weird areas too. Yeah. Natasha's squad, she's just forgotten despite diversity. Okay, so despite the group shot, where was I? Making Valkyrie queen as little compensation when they didn't even make up for the confirmed sexuality. Bringing back Gamora from a different timeline doesn't matter if they fridged her in the first place.
Oh my God.
Okay, you can kill women on screen. You can, because it's not real, it's fake. But now every time you kill a woman,
it's fridging. Thanks,
fridging.
Thanks, Gail.
Hey, Gail. Back away from the fridge once in a while. Okay. Kill off women. Oh God, stop jumping on me. Kill off another woman is almost, and killing off another woman in almost the same way. I don't even like Black Widow. I don't even like Black Widow. Probably because she's white, but her dying for Clint's family was cringe. She deserved better than that.
Oh, this is the thing that there is actually a really good comment that addresses this point. The whole thing with Black Widow isn't just dying to, so Clint can be with his family. She is clearing the red from her ledger.
Yep.
That is the most important thing.
Carol being overpowered in comparison to the other heroes is both a blessing and a curse. It's great to have a woman in this universe with that kind of power. It's undefined, by the way, and it's stupid. And they combined 3 of her persona's powers from the Marvel universe, mainly the binary power being the most powerful, because Captain Marvel, well, Miss Marvel has average power, very average power. And she was such a big deal. She wasn't even in the official handbook of the Marvel universe. She was only in there as binary. And make up for the lack of diversity. No, was making. I already read that part. But we have learned from Superman and Thor, all that means is writers finding ways to tone them down so the movie isn't over too soon. I was happy seeing her in Endgame, and while I emphasize with those who feel disappointed, almost no Carol. I have 0 women of color on my screen unless you include Gamora. I had all of 0 women of color on my screen unless you include Gamora. So that's not 0.
Yeah. But again, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough.
Thank goodness for Nebula holding it down. Otherwise, we would have left the pre-snap part of the story with no good female storylines. Marvel has to step up. We have Brie Larson said the same thing very recently. We have stuck with them through the highs and lows and have supported their vision, carrying the weight of queer representation when canon doesn't. That also requires them having the energy for representation when it comes to all women and whatever.
LMNOP, XYZ, blah, blah, blah.
Marvel has given us their strongest Avenger. Now they need to give her a universe that they can handle, and other women to help populate it. If we have been let down by a lot of the universe when it comes to the issue, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, go ahead down that road. Go ahead, Marvel.
Yep. Nobody will pay money to see this trash if they go down that route.
Well, and the thing is, while the female ticket buying audience is pretty for the Marvel movies, it's probably close to 50-50. I would say 60-40, 50-50. I would say it's for Aquaman, it was more women than men.
Oh, geez, I wonder why.
For Captain Marvel, it was a lot more men than women.
Also, I wonder why.
Yeah, but when it comes to buying merchandise and comic books, it's not even close.
It's mostly dudes.
It's over 80% dudes. So that's got to factor in too. So this article basically says the same thing. So here we go, folks. Here we go. It's 1 week after Endgame. Avengers, Endgame's women deserved more. Now I'm going to spare you and not read this, but it says the same thing.
The Black Widow problem.
The Black Widow problem. The Nebula problem. Nebula was great. Oh, she bad things happened to her. She wasn't full on Mary Sue, so that's a problem. The Captain Marvel problem.
There was character development. That's a problem.
Okay, Captain Marvel problem. Captain Marvel film premiered last month and has already earned over $1 billion. But now that you saw that,
citing that though,
they do. But now that you see Avengers Endgame made $1 billion like in a nanosecond, and they flooded the theaters. And by the way, I want to check my facts before I say this. Hang on. I'll be right back to the chat. Everybody, thanks for sitting through that fucking garbage. Probably lost half our viewers.
No, actually, it's gone up, I think.
Oh, really? Oh,
it's almost at 900.
It's almost 900.
It's over 900. Not yet. Okay.
Captain Marvel domestic. It beat Wonder Woman, and it's because they shoved them into theaters for Avengers Endgame.
Oh, of course, man. I mean that's not a surprise. That movie beat a lot of stuff mainly because it was sandwiched between
they forced theaters to show.
That too, yeah. I mean
for Avengers Endgame, and that got it past Wonder Woman. So DC, I know you listen. Warner Brothers DC, I know the entire executive board is listening to me right now. Re-release Wonder Woman prior to Wonder Woman 1984. Re-release it. Discounted rate, make it a charity thing, do something. And I swear to God, I'll help the campaign for people to go watch that movie. Re-release it. They fracking cheated.
They did. They really did. It's unfortunate.
It's funny. It made all that money, but there wasn't a single cheer in my theater for her. Listen, the Star Wars trailer getting booed in my theater is a big deal. I don't think that's something that should be kind of taken lightly. In the Bay Area, this is like where Star Wars was born, up here in Northern California. All right, let's get to the super chats and we'll get back to the chatty chat, wat chat. Okay.
By the way, Dr. Vickman, it's kind of hard for me to read messages while I'm on a stream. So it's not like I'm ignoring you, dude.
Who's that?
Dr. Vakeman. He sent you a $5 super chat.
What's up, Vankman?
It was more of a jab at me than anything.
Yeah, jab away. It's Comix Division. I'm just kidding.
It's fucking Comix Division.
When are you gonna make some videos, comics?
Nobody likes that dude. I actually have my next video scripted, so it's probably gonna get recorded tomorrow since I have nothing going on. But I've been feeling like crap all week, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks.
Well, I've just been tired, man.
Matt McCoy, by the way, are you playing locally with Green Day? I mean, I'll go. I mean, I'll go see you.
Also, you need to give them shit for their feminist book.
Yeah, dude, I won't watch Green Day, but I'll watch your band for sure.
Green Day used to be fun.
Dookie was, I remember when Dookie came out. I was working at the warehouse, and it was okay, but I mean, they're kind of posers.
Yeah, they really are. Well, but it's West Coast punk.
Yeah. I mean, I like the drummer. He's a good drummer, but well, I like Blink-182's drummer too. So, but I mean, I didn't like the band, and they're from my hometown. They're probably the biggest band from my hometown now I think about it, because before that there was Country Dick, Montana. Jim Morrison lived in San Diego for a little while. Rad Willie won $2. Look up how the article on how only the people of color died in season 8, episode 3. I saw that article about how it's confirming immigration bias or something like that. I was actually going to save that for a video.
Oh man, they fucking read into everything, I guess.
Yeah. I don't want. I just read Mary Sue. I don't want to. You know what? I'll look it up towards the end. Rad Willie. Yeah, I'll do that. Just remind me.
You
Comix
need
Division,
you need
I
a
remember.
palate cleanser between reading the Mary
Yeah.
Sue and more SJW trash.
Yes, we need to go to the people. Nobody $2. That was none of this to say. So few letters. None of this to say. Thank you for the $2. It's okay. I think I kind of got that, but it's I always blame myself. I'm horrible at reading, and nobody should ever apologize for screwing up. Destiny Captain, $1 or a 99-cent donation. Thank you, Destiny Captain is on the bridge. What's up, buddy? Rad Willie won $2. Daily Dot, the Dothraki and Unsolid deserved better. Thank you. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that, but bet you I'm not going to agree with their reasons. I think they deserve better because the narrative sucked balls. Sucked balls. Good God. I have too many windows up.
You should see my laptop, man. I usually have about 50 tabs open.
Do you?
On multiple browser windows.
Do you save? I save all my stuff on my desktop too, so it looks like a goddamn mess.
No, I actually pretty good about keeping my shit organized. So I save everything into, actual folders. And if I'm creating a video, I actually have a folder for that video.
I just like it gets splattered. It's like Jackson Pollock on my screen. Yeah, it's just. Thank you, Rad Willie. I will read that. Rhaegar Targaryen, what is up, my lord? Rhaegar.
I'll be right back.
Soon,
I need to see what the dog wants to do.
Personally, Rhaegar, by the way, I was backing you, buddy. I really was. $1.99. The MCU is mostly white, therefore white supremacy. Rhaegar, exactly. I was going to, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was going to be funny and call tonight's episode Friday Night Whites, like the White Walkers. And there is areas that spell it a little different, not like the color white. Then I thought better of it. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's 2019. Never mind. And it was supposed to be the White Walkers and everything, but I honestly wasn't even thinking about it. Then I had to check myself. I'm like, that would probably be a really bad idea. Chris Persia, Canadian $5. Princess Weeks Princess Weeks at the Mary Sue is proof that SJWs don't support their own. She didn't even bother to catch Captain Meh. No, she just wanted to complain about it. And you know what that tells us, Chris Persia? That's the stuff she's honest about. I bet you she doesn't watch most of the stuff she covers. I mean, the Mary Sue might be just filled with political operatives. These places exist. These things exist. I'm not saying I know this for a fact of Mary Sue, but you guys know, and ladies know, that there's sites, there's agents, there's people in fandom who are there for political reasons. Both parties do this. Both parties send people out to infiltrate pop culture and stuff. And well, hell, our government has done that to the news media. So yeah, absolute proof. The thing that should not be for $10, Feige having Captain Marvel made basically fridge the entire MCU and its fan base. We are all trapped in a fridge model SJW 2019, waiting for them to slam the door on us, right? It's an abandoned fridge and we were a kid who got lost and we walked into the fridge and now we're locked in there forever. The thing that should not be, thank you. And thank you again for that email. That was very enlightening. Very enlightening. Jeremy Smith. Oh, wait, no. Dr. Venkman is in the house. $5. Since Comix has been ignoring me all day. I was ignoring him all day too. I totally ghosted him today. Here's $5 that could have gone to him. Ooh. Also, America Chavez. Thanks, man.
That's what I told you. It's more
Dr.
of a dig
Venkman,
at me.
wise choice. Also, America Chavez is a national treasure. Don't you say anything about America. She needs to be
all Eric
MCU.
Breen, man. That's all Eric Breen.
Eric Breen. Jeremy, thank you, Dr. Vankman. Jeremy Smith, $2. What are the chances Blue Marvel gets introduced? Really good. He'll be gay.
He'd be a gay Puerto Rican with a wooden leg.
With a wooden leg, yeah. Differently abled, something like that. So I would say at this point, watch that Eternals movie, Jeremy. Watch that Eternals movie. Like I've said, people are, I've even made that mistake. Is the MCU going woke? It has already gone woke. It has happened. We are now well into the woke MCU. The whole wait and see and everything. Just read anything by Kevin Feige lately. Look at what's coming up. Look at Spider-Man Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
And it will, I would be surprised if that movie is just filled with stuff. Yeah. Independent works, folks. Start making your own stuff. Matt, and there's going to be a great market for it soon. All right. And you don't even need the gatekeepers out there. I mean, as long as you can put stuff on you, we got Rebecca Gold out there making a web series. We've got web comics being made. We've got books. Mike Brown is writing a book, has written books that are available on Amazon. We need more of this stuff. Of course, we got EVS. Cyberfrog looks amazing. We got Jawbreakers coming out. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Jawbreakers is out.
I mean, Jawbreakers is out. Yes, I even have it, and I haven't read it yet.
I know. I need to do the same thing myself.
But I have a plan. I have a plan to actually stick my nose in to Comicsgate and get involved, and it involves a pop-up shop around the holidays. Yeah, it's floating around in my head.
Think about doing like just selling independent books at that point.
Yeah, well, I think I'll sell old stuff, and I'll pick some Indiegogo books to sell, and I'll do a pop-up here in San Francisco and call it Comicsgate. Why the fuck not? Matt, well,
you could definitely play it off because of the Golden Gate Bridge. So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Only cheer in my theater was when Thanos punched her across the screen. No, really, Matt? Oh,
there were some cheers with that. There was like a mixed bag of cheers in my office. Excuse me, my theater. I don't know why I said office.
Well, maybe there's something we should know about you.
Yeah.
That says it all right there. I mean, like, it's a Marvel character and it gets smacked in the mouth. And even if you get a smattering, that's all you need. That is the seeds of discontent growing.
Well, the other thing too that just annoys me is that, you have in Infinity War where, Thanos is like all that for a drop of blood. And it's like that scene was so powerful, but you have Thanos headbutting her, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything.
Like,
and that haircut is so bad. And they purposely give her like a bad, it's like, it's a Hillary Clinton haircut, by the way. That's not an accident. And Doctor Who kind of has a Hillary Clinton haircut too. Trooper Bear FN 2525 $5. The second snap should have gone to Nebula, not Tony. Showing 2014 Nebula. She could change, get revenge on Thanos, and she be the real Shiro of the MCU. Yeah, but I mean, and that would be calling back to the story. It would a little bit. Something else has to happen after that, but I wouldn't have hated if Nebula got it. But going to Tony was right. There's a lot of things wrong with that movie, and as time goes on, the more problems I'm going to have with it. And like I said in 2 live streams now, but it's a damn good joke, so I'm going to stick with it. When Doctor Strange goes up and opens the portals, those are all the plot holes opening up in that movie. There is nothing but plot holes.
Well, the other thing too, I liked about the reason why as much as I wouldn't have a problem with Nebula doing it, the thing I liked about it, though, is it just goes to show you that it began with Iron Man and it ends with Iron Man. So, and as Lucas would say, it's poetic.
It is. It's poetic. It's poetry. It rhymes. And the last words he spoke were, "I am Iron Man."
Yeah.
because he
And
couldn't say
that was just
after that.
that was such a tearjerker right there.
Well, and his death scene, the fact that he couldn't speak,
Yeah.
like he was too far gone, that really got me. I'm like, that's freaking
that was really well done too.
That I guarantee you that was his decision. And yeah, it just sucks to see him go. And I will only defend Brie in this one thing. She never had a fucking chance, because I said this in a podcast 3 years ago when nobody was listening. I did a podcast with Dennis, and we heard Captain Marvel was announced, and we did a podcast on it should be She-Hulk. It should not be Captain Marvel. If you can't use the X-Men or the Invisible Woman, because honestly, I see two women as the first females of Marvel, in Sue Storm and Aurora Monroe. Both of them equally are like the leading women of Marvel, and they didn't have access to either of them. So honestly, She-Hulk was
when I
the
think
third.
of women in Marvel, there's two characters that really stand out to me. The first one is Storm, and the second one is Rogue. I naturally just go to the X-Men for some reason.
I just think, Sue Storm is the first lady of Marvel. Plus, she's freaking, powerful as hell. I just love the Fantastic Four too. And plus, she was first.
Yeah.
Literally. And so I thought it should be She-Hulk, and I argued that the person who comes in, because I knew they didn't say anything. Listen, I've been around comics. I had just the Kelly Sue DeConnick Captain Marvel came out in my second to last year at the store, and they were saying then that she is the Superman of Marvel. She's going to be the Superman of Marvel. We're going to make her the most powerful character. And I hated it then. And I knew that's what they were going to do with the MCU. So I said, the person playing this character needs to be the most charming actress in Hollywood. They need to get somebody that everybody will instantly love, like Robert Downey Jr., has charisma, is funny. And there are tons of women out there that, I'm blanking on her name now. Aubrey Plaza would have been a great choice for somebody to win people over.
I don't think they wanted that though. They wanted an activist.
No, you're absolutely right. But my whole point is the only way they would have been able to pull this off, and they could have, was getting an Aubrey Plaza type. Now, she might not fit the character perfectly physique wise, but Katie Sackhoff would. And Katie Sackhoff also has like this really just fun, has a charisma, can be a badass.
She was great at Starbuck.
She was brilliant at Starbuck, and she had already done it. She won over a male audience who was absolutely 100% against her. So she has priors of winning people over. That's why you bring her in. She's too old. Well, Carol Danvers is actually an older character. She's supposed to be older. She's not like 20 something. I've always seen Carol Danvers in her mid 30s.
Mid 30s, maybe early 40s.
So they blew it there, and we knew that was going to have to be the case. But no, you're right. They chose an activist on purpose to score points, and because they really thought that's that's the way the wind was blowing. This is a reaction from 2015, 2016, and this is the big problem these monolithic companies are going to have now. They can't make shit quick enough to be with the times. So they should really focus on being timeless and not putting in current politics.
That's exactly the point where I think I mentioned last stream about the whole thing with nostalgia. It's like you can have 80s nostalgia, 90s nostalgia, early nostalgia. But the problem is we're getting to the point where there's not going to be any nostalgia for like the late 2000s.
No, you're right. You know why the first Matrix holds up? And it's a hacker movie. Like, every time you hear about a computer hacker movie, you're like, it's dated. It'll be old in 2 years. Like
Hackers.
Hackers is a great example, which is a pretty good movie, actually. But yeah,
it is a good movie, but it's fucking dated.
When you see War Games, the phone modem, you're like, come on. But I mean, at least War Games was good. But no, with to me anyway, the Matrix holds up. I mean, we see a CD, we see a monitor, but we don't really see a lot of the computers, and I mean, a little bit in the office, but they make the world like real, but not real enough to work.
Well, the other thing too, I thought was pretty funny is Trinity actually did use a real Unix hack at the very beginning of the movie. A friend of mine who's a Unix whiz told me that. Well, he was a hacker too. So.
I heard that they got like the details right on that one. I can't verify that. Yeah, I'm not a hacker, but I'm not real, and it holds up. And I just watched the movie recently, and the first one's phenomenal. It's great. There we go. So let's get caught up here. Speaking of fandom will rebuild. Okay. Gamer Gamut, $2. Fandom will rebuild once they are done destroying. Yeah, we're gonna have to rebuild it from scratch, or yeah. I mean, well, I'm gonna be here. I've got no choice in it. I'm a nerd. I'm not just gonna give up being a nerd. I could just, but I get to choose what I want to read, and I could choose not to sell new stuff. And like when I open my pop-up, if I went, say the channel crashes and burns and I have to go open up my comic store, then I will never ever carry Mark Waid stuff. Never. Not a single thing by Mark Waid will enter my store. I won't buy
wonder why,
yeah.
Gary.
Mark Waid's name will not be uttered in my store. He's dead to me because he's done so much harm to the comic book industry. It's unfucking forgivable. So these comic book stores closing, and then this jackass blames Richard or EVS. No, it was the inaction of the retailers. It was comic book creators abusing fans on the internet and their bosses, Joe Bucksada, and doing nothing or liking Renfamous's tweets. All you assholes are responsible for killing the comic book industry. And there was a lot of problems before that. It was dying before that. There's the diamond factor.
Well,
and the
Dan Slott has been a dick to people for years.
Dan Slott. He stopped. So I don't like his work.
I think they made him stop.
But he stopped. Yeah. I don't care what he stopped. And they made him stop.
But that dude legit like ruined people's lives. Like he did some shady shit where he impersonated somebody on a forum and
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he is a grade A fucking troll.
Well, look at him. I mean, does he look like a happy guy?
No.
Does Mark look like a happy guy? They don't. They look miserable, and they want other people to be miserable, and they're taking an entire industry down with them, and an industry that I loved, for their petty egos, and they've actually done major harm to themselves. And it's obviously they're I don't know if this is bipolar. I don't know what the hell. But whatever.
I definitely think there's something wrong with Mark Waid. I think Dan Slott is just a shitty person.
I'll just say there's something wrong with Mark Waid, and I'll leave it at that. But it's done damage to an industry that I love dearly. It's part of the reason I didn't go back to open up a shop. Mark Waid plays a factor in that, and yeah, so that's how strongly I feel about it. They've done so much harm to an industry that I mean, if I've worked in the comic book industry as an artist and I was a good writer, I'd just be grateful. I know, generally a happy artist is not a very good one, but it's a pretty great life. But now he wants to be a superhero and stop all the bad guys from, and the true motive behind this, and I'm stating the obvious, is he's jealous. He's jealous that those guys went out on their own and made more money in a campaign than he probably did in a year working at Marvel or something like that. He's one of the top paid people.
Mm-hmm.
I can't state that for a fact, but I know they don't get paid a lot, and it did damage to an industry that could not take it. So the industry will live. Somehow or another, it will live
in some form or fashion,
but comic stores will not. And honestly, that's one of the main things I loved about the industry. I don't want to I like the act of going in, buying my comics, talking about it and stuff, and reading them digitally does nothing for me. I know some people like it, and rock on if you do, but that will never generate enough money to pay people, but the indie campaigns will.
Well, the other thing too, I think that if comic shops are smart, if they start diversifying and carrying more than just comics, and I think the smarter ones have. I know mine here in town. That, like I said, they had, I think at one point at their peak, I want to say like they had like 10 stores in town. This is like the 90s, and now it's 2.
Shit.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They had quite a few, and a lot of it. And like I said, I've talked to my I won't say my contact, but one of the dudes I buy books from. We talk a lot when I actually show up to buy my fucking books, and majority of their sales does not come from comic books. It's from toys, books, RPG stuff, war games, cards. There's a lot more stuff
Yeah.
that makes money.
And that stuff could still work, especially like, I could do that here. It'd be easy to do that here. There's no, I mean, we have Targets that there's no Walmarts within 40 miles. So all there is Target and a Barnes and Noble. So I could sell toys and absolutely kill, and old comics. And we have like 7 or 8 shops, but very few of them carry back issues. And that really is what helped my stores. I was the only, one of my taglines, of course, it was the Comic Outpost. We have issues, and it would be the largest back issue selection in San Francisco, which I had. I had the largest back issue selection. I had 500,000 comics. I had a big basement underneath that I would store them in. Then I had a bunch upstairs, and yeah, 500,000. I mean, like 10,000 of them were good, but you know what I mean. Scar Track. I love Aria. Let's get back to. So somebody cheered when Thanos. That's great. Trooper Bear. Second snap should have been Nebula. Fandom will rebuild. Crossbreed Azure, $5. Who's excited for Incest Queen, where every time she thinks she does something smart, she loses a child and butt pirate boyfriend as the final boss of Game of Thrones? Nobody's excited. But if you listen to my video, I certainly think that there is a very, very good chance she is the big bad right now, but it seems to me that they are setting up the Jon and Daenerys thing, and I think they're actually going to play that through, and boy, would that be dumb with 3 episodes left. You want to create like a season's worth of drama? I'm trying to think of a couple to relate that to in some kind of soap opera or something like that. It'd be like, it'd be like JR and whoever his wife in Dallas, like all of a sudden didn't like each other for the first time, like in the second to last episode of the final season. And I know it's a bad reference, but I used to watch Dallas.
Everybody watched Dallas, man.
Yeah. Who shot JR? But I mean, it's horrible. It's just a horrible, horrible, horrible idea. It's anticlimactic. Nobody gives a crap. Everybody wanted to see them battle the Night King, and I know it's a trope, and they were trying to subvert expectations. And George tried to.
It blew their load, man. That's the thing. They jerked off. They blew their load too early, and you might as well just end the fucking series now.
Don't understand their own material. See, George is subverting the normal stuff within the framework of a fantasy story. Now, often, and I just learned this today because I haven't read a ton of George's other work, but I learned it through full credit to Preston Jacobs. I heard him talking about it in a podcast. He's read a lot of George's other work, and he said it's kind of a George thing for the big bad to get killed by somebody else or a secondary character, but it's still, the story still has a big ending. It's not like they just stop everything. I always thought if the Night King shows up and the others, here's my theory from the books, that there's something that something disturbed the balance that kind of triggered them, and there is no beating them. No, you have to get them to go back by setting the thing right, whatever got triggered, and that might be it. But the show started going linear, started going normal. So like I said before, imagine Avengers Endgame without that big battle at the end. People would be setting shit on fire. That's what happened in Game of Thrones.
Yep. At least they got the Captain Marvel ending.
Yeah, we got the Captain Marvel ending in Game of Thrones, and at least we didn't get it in the MCU. Listen, I'm happier that the MCU ended better than the Game of Thrones did. God, I heard people say, I think I even heard Cecil say that he liked Game of Thrones better than Endgame. Which is fine. Okay. People have different tastes. People just have
was Cecil being serious? Because we're talking about the guy who was shredding. We are talking about the guy who used to shred like good comics over bad ones. That's how his channel started.
Listen, I think Cecil's a fighter, and him and Jeremy were debating, and then Jeremy got me on, and like he was taking on like 4 people, and he had Anna on his side, and Anna's good enough. Anna can equal 2 guys or girls, and he damn near held his own. But I mean, like freaking Mauler and Rags were on, and listen, I know Game of Thrones. There's not a lot I know in the world, but I know Game of Thrones. So and then he was drinking a lot too. I don't know. Cecil was good though. Like, yeah, he held his own. Dude's a man. Not going to deny that. But yeah. I lost my Motolicious. Speaking of Operation Mockingbird, Jim Morrison was the son of a military intelligence admiral based in San Diego. I will finish that, Motolicious. You are correct. Obviously wasn't spending a lot of time at home and had a little artsy son who lived a very impactful and short life. I'll never forget the day I turned 27. I'm like, God, this is when Jim Morrison died? Dang.
Yeah.
Feels like I'm just getting started,
It's because you are, man.
Yep. Captain Spire, thank you for the thank you, Motolicious, for the $5. Captain Spire on the bridge, $5. It helps the Captain Marvel's profit margins when Disney pre-buys 10 to 12 seats in hundreds of theaters, allegedly. In my opinion, right?
I did 2 videos about that.
Yep. Captain Spire, there was some fuckery going on. There was certainly some stuff going on. Dr. Venkman, $2. I was asked this last live stream, and I'll answer it again. Any news on the Expanse season 4? We will be getting the Expanse season 4 most likely. They said they are shooting for the end of the year, but with no inside information, my guess is January. January is a really good time to release television. It's actually not good to release it before the holidays. It used to be thought that was a good time, but you see more. It's really not.
It's why they start, doing the mid-season finales around right before November, or Thanksgiving, and they take a break till January.
Let me tell you something though.
Oh,
for YouTube, freaking holidays, man.
Yeah.
November, December are insane for your numbers. So if you're looking to start a channel,
makes sense.
Somebody, Joe, if you're out there, just plain Joe asked me, he was, talking about his channel and talking about getting it off the ground. It takes a long time. You got to stick with it. You got to do constant work. It's going to suck at first. You're going to get shitty comments. My recommendation, just don't even bother reading them at first. I mean, because unless you want to get very rarely it's constructive criticism, and it's mostly like you just suck or something like that. And just keep, just ignore that stuff and put out stuff.
I just respond with thanks for stopping by. I always kill my detractors with kindness, unless it's like just a bunch of stupid shit. But yeah, I mean, anytime someone gets angry with me over something, I always ask them, so what did you like about it? I try not to be a dick to people when I get negative feedback or negative comments because I didn't like something that they liked.
Yeah.
I've gotten some pretty good conversations with people that, completely thought I was an asshole, and then I guess walked away, maybe think I was all right. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, when I do catch it and it's something respectful, I get something out of it. Yeah. I mean, there's people believe it or not, there is a lot of people out there who are nice and go, yeah, I kind of don't like this, but and offer me friendly advice. I'm never going to not take that, especially when it's cool. And then there's stuff that's you
and then there's the, lock her up comment I got in one of my videos. It's like, whatever, dude, man. Don't assume.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, Dr. Venkman. I abuse you all the time. By not giving
God, there's so many people, dude. There is so many people live tonight, and you guys, thank you for choosing us. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that's killer. I was just looking out like who else is out there. It's like, oh God, Lee G. Willikers. Where was I? So thank you, Dr. Venkman. I can't wait for the Expanse season 4. I just hope it doesn't fall prey to what so many of our shows have fallen prey to. I do trust Rand Shankar. He's was involved in Farscape, and he of course worked on Star Trek The Next Generation and DS9, and he is a fantastic showrunner and one of the best out there right now, to be honest with you. Nobody, $2. Get Out. Good example. Great film. Woke trash. Yeah. And then we got Twilight Zone out of that, and screw that guy.
Well, the funny thing too with the whole thing with Get Out is it made for more of the white
Yep.
woke liberals than anything else.
You're getting more of that. The white savior thing is happening quite a bit. Josiah Rises just did a trailer reaction. I'm like, what the hell are you doing a trailer reaction on a rom-com, dude? But then it's about a female late night talk show host who's getting forced out of her job. And then she hires her first female writer because her whole staff is white men. And yeah, watch the trailer. It's woke trash. It's woke trash. I forgot what it's called though, but check out Josiah's channel. He's good. He's a good kid, Josiah. Jabba's Southern Biscuits.
That's great.
Boshuda. $4.99. When Arya skydived on the Night King, would it have saved the scene if Lamar from Orville jumped out and said, boom, biatch, afterwards? Yes, girl, slay queen. Yes, it would have. And then Bortus comes out from behind the tree and says, Jaloja. That would have been better. Gamer Gambit, $2. I believe the Wasp was MCU's first step of wokeness. Yes. Gamer Gambit, the Wasp, and no, Spider-Man Homecoming. Was for me the first step of wokeness with not as much. I don't mind the casting except for MJ. Mm-hmm. If they wanted to race swap Ned Leeds, it's like, whatever. Unless they're going to use, of course, the Hobgoblin, then it's kind of a problem. But he's going to have a little trouble fitting in that suit. You know what I'm saying? But
it seems like they based him off of the Asian kid that was in
Miles Morales. Is what they did is they mixed up the Ultimate Universe with Miles Morales's. Yeah, they definitely did. But MJ is MJ, and that's not MJ.
MJ is always a redhead, a hot redhead who's a model.
We got Spider-Man in the MCU, and honestly, the best version we've got so far is still Raimi. Yeah, I know people like Tom Holland. He looks the part. He cries a little bit too much for me. He was great in Civil War. I liked him in Endgame. I did, except for his little fetal position, being afraid of Captain Marvel. That's again treating him like a little effing baby.
Oh God, yeah, that part.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing constantly with him, and we'll see what. But so far, not been super happy with the Spider-Man. But I will agree with you that Wasp was a major step. Wasp and Ant-Man. As a matter of fact, I was complaining about that when the movie came out, and I was all alone on that one.
No, dude, I was with you. We did a review. There was a lot of problems I had with that movie. Specifically, was the fact that the villain wasn't actually the villain.
No, well, and his suit kept on crapping out, and she got all the best scenes, and he was just a major idiot throughout his whole effing movie. Yeah, I couldn't stand it. RDJ will return in Sherlock Holmes 3. Those are I don't know. I thought you were liking it.
Me?
I thought you kind of liked it. Yeah.
I thought it was funny, but I didn't think the movie took any risks.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
I felt it was mediocre, honestly.
That's why I was so happy that Paul Rudd was great in Endgame. He was one of the best things in Endgame. I was like, see, if you make it something normal, Paul Rudd could shine. Imagine Edgar Wright directing Paul Rudd in an Ant-Man movie, even if it's standalone. I wish they would get Edgar Wright back and do a proper standalone.
Won't though.
I know they won't, man. And he was majorly influential in the MCU in the early days. By the way, guys, it was very collaborative. There's Jon Favreau, Edgar Wright, Joss Whedon. At the time, they did. Listen, that's
before it became one big fucking formula.
Kevin Feige's getting all the love right now. Well, he was there when it started, but creatively, it was Jon Favreau, Joss Whedon, Edgar Wright, and Robert Downey Jr. RDJ will return in Sherlock Holmes 3. Those are my favorite books, so looking forward to it. The first two movies were fantastic from start to finish. I like the first one a lot. Second one was pretty good. I'll watch those movies. I think they're pretty good. Yeah, I own the first one. The thing that should not be $2. They wanted activist Feige. They wanted an activist Feige called Brie directly.
Yes.
Um,
That's what he's been quoted saying.
Yep. Damn.
Yeah.
I own 500-ish comics. Sadly, no comic shops near me, says Gamer Gavin. That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Sorry about that.
Hey, man, there is always eBay and Amazon.
Yep. There is a couple of good online comic stores I can recommend to you. There's one here in town. I can email it to you. Bob Flanders, 777. Just cuz. Hope all is well. Thanks for your vids. Live long and prosper, by the way, LLAP. And thank you, Bob Flanders. I appreciate it. The lucky 77. I will take that to Vegas with me at the Star Trek convention, which I can't wait to go to. That's going to be interesting. I appreciate it. Trooper Bear FN 2525, $5. Get ready for Riri, America Chavez, Thordis, Cap Marvel, Lady Loki, and Valkyrie. Just don't hug without their consent, and they'll shame you on Twitter. Thank you for the $5. Right? Don't even look at them, male gazer. That's what we need to invent a superhero. Like, remember Gazer Beam from Dodgeball? Male Gazer Beam.
Male gazer. That's fucking funny.
Am I too late to start The Expanse? Never did. No, Tech Guy, you are right on time. Season 4 is still months away. It is available on Amazon Prime. It is a beautiful television show. Start it right now.
Okay,
you can actually leave this live stream to go start right now. I give you permission. Thank you for the $2.
Neon Valentine, am I planning on doing anything for Free Comic Book Day? Sadly, I have not picked up my books, and I'm forced to go in tomorrow, which means I'm going to be meted with a lot of freaking lines. I honestly hate Free Comic Book Day, mainly because the only reason why people show up is to get free stuff. And it just...
it's Free Comic Book Day tomorrow. I forgot.
Yeah. Normally, what I liked last year, what my shop did is that they gave us a list for subscribers to go and check off what you wanted, and then they would just get it for you. I did not make it into the shop today like I was hoping to do because I forgot and I got lazy, I guess. So yeah, I'm kind of forced to go tomorrow, which is going to suck. I'm going to pay.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go to my old shop and I'll go drop in, and the staff will probably ignore me like they've done in the past because they suck. But did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's going to be a madhouse, man. It's going to be a madhouse tomorrow, and that's part of the reason why I don't like going.
I know the guy who invented New Comic Day, Joe Field.
Free Comic Book Day, really?
Yeah, Joe Field from Flying Color Comics out in Concord, California. Shop's still there.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Joe Field is the man responsible. Thunderbots, don't watch Game of Thrones. Well, you just saved yourself a ton of time, Thunderbot robots. But from what you said, how is it good to kill a guy that can rise and control the dead? Won't become more powerful? No, no, they just killed him. They just killed him, and they gave you next to no explanation on his background, his motives, or anything. He just wanted the long night. He was just a bad guy to be a bad guy. It was extremely un-Game of Thrones, and they're basically rushing. They did one of the best setups in television history to do one of the poorest executions of an ending in television history. Books will be written about how Game of Thrones utterly failed its audience. Now, there's a ton of people in denial about that right now because they are emotionally invested in the show. But maybe just because it's happened to me too much. And I might be one of those people if I wasn't pissed off at season 7. Plus, people waited 2 years to get 6 episodes. And they dicked around for 2 episodes. Then they shot an episode in the dark and killed the big bad and told us that wasn't the big bad. You're watching the show all wrong. I'm shit you not. That's the response we're getting. Well, your theories were just dumb and you're mad because your theories didn't come through. I didn't have a theory. I honestly didn't have a Night King theory. I'm like, I'm going to see what happens. I fully expected the Night King. I expected a subversion, and we got one. It just was poorly executed.
I don't
And
know. He always kind of came off as like some sort of like ice lich to me.
yeah, well, I mean, but they didn't want to explain it or make it mysterious or anything. They just wanted to kill him and get it over with. It was clear that that they just knew people would slop it up, and they did. They got 12 million overnight viewers. They almost broke their own damn record. Here's the deal. It's going to kill their fucking Blu-ray sales.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure it will kill anything that is, they're attached to as well.
oh, well, wait, I'm just going to say there is a possibility, and this is knowing very little. There is a possibility. Well, Sansa, not Maisie Williams, the actress who plays Sansa, said before the season started, a lot of people are going to be disappointed with the ending.
Wow.
That's a quote. Amelia Clark has come out and
sucks.
said she's still going to do something that impacts the end greatly. So you could put 2 and 2 together. And I'm just going to say that there's a great chance, again, without knowing anything, that the rest of the people might be pissed off by the end of the season. It could be like a Sopranos-like ending that people like resoundingly hated. A Lost ending that, a couple people liked, but most people did not. Even Battlestar Galactica, that one split the fandom. I liked the ending, but a lot of people did not. I recognize that, but
I liked it though.
I liked it.
I liked it mainly because of my anthropology background. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Guys.
And also they really freaking foreshadowed that since day one.
I also liked how they worked in the whole mitochondria, Eve thing too.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. And they still worked in the supernatural too. So what really sucks though at the very end is their daughter was the girl. Like she dies young. That's what sucked.
That's the whole thing too. That was actually historically correct because the individual who introduced mitochondria Eve died young.
Yep. So, and probably because she couldn't survive because she was, half Cylon, half human, which was essentially just a manufactured human and a real human. And guess what they did in Blade Runner 2049? Same fucking thing.
Yep. Oh, dude, you know what? That didn't even cross my mind that basically ripped off Battlestar Galactica.
Yep. By the way, Caprica, underrated show, was going places. It had a concept that a lot of people are using now. Artificial intelligence. It was basically about a guy who invented a fully immersive game that people got too addicted. He became like the most powerful media mogul, and his daughter became a terrorist, and her essence was in that game, and it was supposed to be like the origin of the Cylons, and she was like the patient zero of the Cylons. It was freaking awesome.
Well, she also died too.
She died. She died and she blew herself up.
Yeah, and her consciousness was,
but her consciousnness did live, and there was like, is it really her consciousness or is it not? And it kind of turned out that it was. And then there's a 5-minute ending that they had to rush through. That was pretty much where the series was going. And you get this flash of like where they were going. It's like, oh man.
I have to kind of agree with Rex Racer though. I wasn't a huge fan of that show.
I dug it.
I thought the idea was good.
No, I needed time. What people were expecting was Battlestar Galactica, and they got like The Matrix, and they were not expecting that, and neither was Sci-Fi, and they put a short plug out. But we were supposed to find out who the final 5 were because we never found out.
Oh yeah.
Or we did know what we were supposed to see their origins. Sorry, we did find out, but we were supposed to see their origins. I received several. What? Hang on, I got to read that again. Gamer Gambit, $5. I received several death threats when I started. Say that again. I received several death threats when I started for not saying Yellowstone will erupt. Hoping you put my channel on Exozone sometime. Love the woo woo. So you received some death threats for stating. I'm not understanding that. Sorry. For saying that Yellowstone will erupt. It might. So somebody wanted to kill you for warning people that
For not saying Yellowstone will erupt. Have you seen several death threats when I started for
yeah,
not
reword that for me,
yeah.
Gamer Gambit. I'm a little confused. But thank you for the $5. David Morris, £2. You didn't anything think of snapping more resources? David or Thanos, maybe snapping for or Tony. I think Tony only had one snap. Thanos, there's tons of plot holes in like he could have done anything with the gauntlet. Literally anything.
Yeah. That's the one thing that most people go to is like, why didn't he snap for more resources then?
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Well, the other thing too, I'm trying to remember who did this. Was it? I think it's Alternate History Hub. Yeah, it was definitely Alternate History Hub. He basically laid out why the Thanos snap would have like basically collapsed all life.
Yes.
Because it wasn't just like, humans, it was also plants and animals.
Plants and animals.
And you'd have the exact same issue. And with less trees on Earth, it would basically cause a collapse of the environment.
Yeah. Okay, so he's saying snap more resources because that would upset the ecosystem too, and the snapping away half the Earth would collapse everything, and there'd be wars and shit.
Yeah.
So he had it right at the end of Endgame, actually, when he said, I'm just going to recreate the whole thing from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you kind of should have done that. And then nobody would have known.
Yeah.
Nobody would have known. Who knows? It might have happened already. I love Scotch. Thank you for the $10 donation. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, I got to sing, I love Scotch. Scotchity, Scotch, Scotch. I love Scotch from Ron Burgundy. Nicholas Horton, £5. I consider MCU MJ as Liz Allen, even though it's not Liz Allen, who they swept away at the end of Homecoming.
Yep, pretty much.
No, well, but that's Liz Allen. MCU MJ is MJ. It's Zenyatta Mandata, Nicholas. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I still don't know how they're going to deal with the 5-year jump in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. That was not well thought out because obviously his entire class was wiped out.
If entire class gets snapped, you know what direction the MCU is taken. They don't give two fucks. It's dumb.
Yeah.
That 5-year jump, that didn't make a ton of sense. Really, if you really think about it, the consequences from that were not worth Tony Stark having a daughter. They could have found a way to keep her, put her in a time bubble, throw her in the van in the quantum realm for 5 seconds, whatever.
Yeah, they could have done something better, and that's one of my issues with the movie.
It creates too many problems.
Yeah, it really does. It should not have been a 5-year jump, and I understand by him marrying Pepper and having a kid, there's a lot more emotional ties to Tony, and there's a lot more impact when he dies. But at the same time, that just creates such a huge fucking plot hole.
Yep. Thank you, Nicholas Horton, for the £5. Yeah, Liz Allen. Yeah. Modalicious, $5. Captain Marvel was the first. What? So what are Ultraviolet, Tank Girl, Barbed Wire, Underworld, Vampirella, Scorpion, Red Sonja, Supergirl? They don't exist, Modalicious. Those were just those were men. Those were poser women. They weren't right women.
They were written by men.
They were heteronormative women.
Yes.
Gamer Gambit, $5. Certain channels claim Yellowstone was about to erupt, and I had science proof that it wasn't. Oh, gotcha. They sent me death threats for not concurring with their conspiracy. Tell them to stop being a little bunch of soy alarmists and quit saying Yellowstone's erupting and it's going to scare the shit out of people. It certainly could someday.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We all got to remind
it is overdue
everybody,
too,
but I mean, we don't really know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things we simply don't know because we just haven't been around to observe it.
Yep. And archaeologists were not even 10 years ago were 100% convinced that the Clovis was the first and only culture of human beings to set foot in the Americas. And now that has basically been proven to be total bullshit. And they're still in denial about it. But oh well. It's so much so that they refuse to dig further down because there's nobody there. We don't even bother. So one day, one guy decided to dig a little deeper in South Carolina. Guess what he found? Human being stuff. And it's incredibly hard to find, by the way. So he found it under the Clovis site after a good but 2 feet of nothing. By the way, Graham Hancock was just on Joe Rogan, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Rogan's best podcasts are with Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock. I am sorry to report, though, that the recent one is not one of Graham's best. I'm very interested in his new book, but of course, we can't have a Joe Rogan podcast without talking about psilocybin, fucking mushrooms, and DMT and pot. And I heard a story that totally pissed me off. Graham Hancock had decided that, he's been smoking pot he said 16 hours a day, every day for 30 years. And he was a miserable guy. And he finally decided that it might've been the pot. Now, usually it's not the pot, it is the person. And the drug abuse is just a symptom. So there's people out there who can smoke pot, put it down whenever they want and go about their lives. Good for you. Pot should be illegal. Legalize it, 420, whatever. But it also for Joe and many other people to say that it's not harmful, that's not true. That is not true. I'm sorry.
Anything is harmful.
That's the whole point I'm gonna make. But hang on. Like alcohol's more harmful. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Comix Division. If you do anything obsessively multiple times a day, every day, it's probably not healthy.
No.
So, like live streaming.
Hey,
but I'm not money on live streaming. Pot. I don't want to get like, so the whole point was Graham Hancock got off it for 3 years and said he was a little happier. And when Joe Rogan heard that, the last podcast, he handed him a joint and got him started smoking pot again. I flipped. I was like, what? I'm like, Joe, dude, that is a dick move. And now he's smoking pot and he's all, oh, it's okay, it's fine. So Graham Hancock started talking about DMT and everything. Again, that's fine. If you guys want to go take that, you know what, that might be something I'm even interested in doing on my bucket list when I'm like 80 and about to go. It's like I'll go and do some tripping, whatever, but not going to do it now, just because I choose not to. But again, not judging anybody who wants to. That's great. But Graham Hancock started talking about the DMT and how much it's better. It's made his life. What he failed to mention in this interview that he had mentioned in his previous is he had 2 life-threatening seizures that almost killed him when he was perfectly healthy. And in the interview, he actually said, I have no idea why I had those seizures. It's like, dude, you're DMT, and he's going down there with the ayahuasca and the DMT like multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
I know a thing or two about hallucinogens. Some of them deposit in your spinal column. It does a lot of stuff to your brain, and yes, it can cause life-threatening seizures if you do way too much of it. I've lost a friend to that very thing. So Joe doing that, I was like, come on. But otherwise, it was a pretty good podcast. But that triggered me. I was like on my way asleep when he said, yeah. Graham's telling the story. He's like, you know what? I was off pot for 3 years until you gave me that joint. I was like, what? Oh, what a dick.
He probably didn't know, though. Or maybe he did.
No, he said, I've been off pot for 3 years, and Joe handed him a joint.
Okay. Yeah.
Dick move.
That is a dick move.
That's almost as bad as like letting those Twitter people get away with what they said. Yeah, Joe's not doing too great lately. He's got to work on that a little bit.
Well, what's been going on? The only thing.
Oh, he let Jack Dorsey from Twitter come on and like let him pretty much. You know how Joe is really good at checking people with their bullshit. That's why I like him.
He did a good job of checking Adam from Adam Ruins Everything's shit.
But apparently and I only watched part of it. He didn't do a very good job of checking Jack Dorsey, and then I think he had him back on with Tim Pool.
Yeah, he did. I watched both.
And Tim Pool kind of took him to task. I like Tim Pool.
Yeah, Tim Pool's great. He fucking owns Jack and what's her name. You could tell they were fucking skirting the issue. They're not going to admit to banning conservatives and all this shit. I mean, because if they did, it's lawsuit.
Yep.
Big fucking lawsuit. None of these tech companies will admit to do any kind of wrongdoing, even though apparently Project Veritas has had some hidden camera stuff going on Facebook. I don't know if you watch the Rubin report, but they had
is that recent?
Yeah, it's like this week's Rubin report.
I'll watch that.
I don't remember the dude's name, but he's the one who started Project Veritas, and they're talking about the whole thing where they have it on fucking film, hidden camera shit, them admitting that they're doing this shit.
I just hate Zuckerberg because he's like fucking up the mission, like bad. He bought a bunch of houses and it just fucked it up. Mr. Roboto, $5. Battlestar Galactica got us an unbelievable blonde who exists in real life. Also, butts with teeth madness. I don't know what that is. She was in a Playboy. I know that because it was the only Playboy I ever sold at my store. Was the one with number 6 in it. Tech guy, $5. Meant to ask. So Exozone is covering all paranormal or just ghosts? All paranormal. Tech guy, will you incorporate viewer stories, recommendations, or just what you plan out? No, Tech guy, we take actually we asked for that last Exozone. So if you could, Gary at nerdrotic.com, or you can email Doomcock at darthdoomcock@gmail.com. Either one is fine, or DM us both on Twitter. Best to email me though. My Twitter DMs are, I'm going to have to shut down the open DMs for a little while because I need to get behind, and I got chewed out by a couple people yesterday. And I'm like, they were tweeting directly at me. And I'm like, I don't spend a ton of time. I only spend like 30 minutes a day on Twitter. It's a self-imposed thing because I used to spend too much time on it. So I don't catch everything. And yeah, so apologies for that.
I'll just start texting you now.
Yeah. No, it's just best to email. I mean, you could, text me is good. Text me is the best. That is the best. Why didn't Thor just set Mjolnir on top of Thanos at the end of the war? Thought no one who wasn't worthy could lift it. Yeah, Dr. Brinkman, but I think with the Infinity Gauntlet, he probably could have. I just think that would have been an exception. But that's a good question. Probably because it would have made the movie really short.
Yeah, there's that.
But there's a lot, Dr. Frankman, there's a lot of why didn't they do this? I mean, Thanos, Doomcock brought it up in his Infinity War review, and it went through my mind at the time. He had the reality gem. I mean, forget the time gem. He had the reality gem. He
just rewrite reality.
Rewrite reality. Cyrus 3344, Australian $5. Lyanna Mormont's arms are so short the giant had to bring her up to his eyeball so she could reach it and kill him. I hate this episode. Love your work. Osiris, it was so fucking stupid and even after that, after Arya getting that water dancing scene where she like took out like 90 whites in 3 seconds, people were going, I didn't see the girl power stuff in that episode at all. I'm like, really?
Oh, come on.
Really?
Especially when chicks can doing things that, grown-ass men can't do.
Arya's been training for years. Arya did not finish her training. They just made her a superhero. You just bought it. Okay, Arya finished her training. You know how she finished her training? She defeated and killed the waif who stabbed her in the stomach multiple times after she waded in canal water, which in Bravos, which was sewage water, which would have killed her. And then she gained superpowers. Well, yes, the Faceless Men have some sort of supernatural technique that George has never gone over in the book. Instead of explaining their own, Dan and Dave just said, she's got powers now. Go. And it made no sense. And it happened after, season 4, season 5. That's when things went to crap. Warms up chamomile tea for the Game of Thrones book club. Good. See, that's good. You can, Johnny Pappas, what's up? $2. Thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, Game of Thrones are good books. Warm up some tea, read the book. That is totally fine. As a matter of fact, I haven't finished Fire and Blood, and I'm going to just finish that now. The thing that should not be $5. Joe Rogan's best podcast was with Alex Jones. I think the Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock one is a little better, but it depends on your taste. So I understand that, especially the last one. That is the problem with most awesome podcasts in the internet history. That is probably the most awesome podcast in internet history, pure gold. I'm wondering if he's going to have him back on now, because if he has him back on, he threatens getting himself banned, because that's what we needed to talk about real quick. And we got to wrap
that
this
shit
up.
is in fucking insane that's going on.
Dave Cullen did a video on this. Facebook is getting rid of Louis Farrakhan, Paul Joseph Watson, and Alex Jones, and anybody who shares their stuff.
Yes. First they came for the thought leaders. Now they're coming for you.
Yeah. So I don't care. I definitely don't agree with Louis Farrakhan. I don't agree with Alex Jones. I don't agree with I mean, sometimes Alex, I used to listen to Alex a lot when he was paranormal, conspiracy kind of stuff, for Art Bell kind of stuff, Bilderbergers, going out to Bilderbergers, that was totally listening to that stuff all the time. But he started getting like super duper duper political, and honestly, I wouldn't say he's any better or worse than CNN. I mean, CNN's the lies just as much as people think he does.
Mm-hmm.
All Alex Jones does, and this is, mind you, from years ago, listening to him about conspiracy stuff, is just throw out possibilities. And he's got some he throws out theories. Some of them are crazy, but some of them are like, I don't know. You got to think, what is so dangerous about, if Alex Jones is just crazy, well, what do you got to worry about?
Or if it's just a character.
If it's just a character, if he's just like a wrestling character, what do you got to worry about? And honestly, Louis Farrakhan has been doing this stuff for years. Louis Farrakhan used to have closed circuit video into the prisons.
Yeah.
They were allowing that for decades.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pipeline. I mean, like, do the math on that. Okay. I know that one for a fact, by the way. So, Paul Joseph Watson is a snarky Englishman. That's all he is. He's a very snarky Englishman. One of his best videos ever is on pop music. And architecture and art and modern art. His modern art one's actually pretty damn good too. So so they're banning people, and the question is what you brought up earlier: do we need an internet bill of rights? This is now, because you know what, the government can start using private companies, making private companies, and start using that to you're subverting people's rights.
I don't think they have to at this point.
And the private companies, I mean, this is where I'm torn. I don't like more legislation. I just don't. Mm-hmm. Private companies should be able to do whatever the hell they want. They're private companies, but I think it's time to, there's a danger with this too. This is such a double-edged sword.
Well, this is the reason why I say that the Internet Bill of Rights is more important than actually doing legislation, because that's the big difference, is that you're giving rights to the people rather than trying to limit the actions of business.
Or people really got to nut up, and I mean seriously nut up, and if they get rid of them, then leave Facebook like that day. Do what happened to Patreon with Sargon, except it has to be everybody. But you can't be all, I use it for my business and I use it to talk to my family. No, if you really believe it, and if they're really doing this, and I'm even having a problem with that, but if they're really doing this, then I might just nuke my Facebook.
The danger is at Facebook, though. I mean, that is a huge problem. The issue is when it starts spreading into your ability to do commerce. If you heard about what's going on with MasterCard?
Yeah, well, they'll be able to fight that.
I hope so. Because
no, you cannot. No, they can try to get MasterCard to stop people. You cannot do that. I guarantee you that would lose.
But they've been doing it though. They've already been doing it.
You know what? Then force it to happen.
Yeah,
force it to actually happen and get that to the Supreme Court, because I'd really love to see that one pass. You can't stop people from making a living, having credit cards. If you have bad credit, of course.
Yeah,
but if you don't have bad credit, then that's discrimination. And yeah, I think the fact of the matter is nobody is willing to really defend Alex Jones, but maybe somebody needs to. And
the other thing, I don't know if you heard about what happened with Laura Loomer. I don't know much about her, but I mean,
I don't know anything about her.
She's been like banned from everything. She's been banned from Uber. I want to say that she's had her Patreon shut down.
She's been banned from Uber.
Yes, from Uber. There's been all sorts of shit. I mean, way worse than Alex Jones. She's been included in that ban on Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff, but she is being digitally erased. And I want to say that I don't know if she had her bank account shut down, but there was like, all of her methods of funding have been shut down. It's pretty insane. It's like the stuff that's going on with Count Dankula, where the guy just simply can't make money because he's been subsequently, no one's going to hire him. He can't make money off of YouTube. They basically taken away his ability to raise money. So like the only way the dude's surviving is through donations. And that's pretty fucking scary. But this is also the UK where things are a little bit different.
Yeah, he needs to leave.
Yeah, he does.
He needs to come over here. He'll be fine.
It is, Maverick. It is very scary stuff. And this is the thing that we need to fucking fight, tooth and nail, because this is bad.
I mean, we can't give this one lip service. I mean, that's something I got to really think about tomorrow.
I mean,
like, do I want to continue with my Facebook? Do I really need it?
I mean, I don't need that.
I got a Facebook group.
I don't log into it anymore.
I got a Facebook group. I got my page. I got everything, but this is kind of where I got to draw the line.
Yeah, we are entering into the realm of some serious Black Mirror shit. Yeah. And the thing that is so annoying is that this shit is not meant to be a playbook. It's meant to be a warning of not to do.
No, and it's only a matter of time until they come after people who are criticizing Captain Marvel. Trust me.
No, absolutely.
Next. And it might be years down the road. But listen, the dangerous part about that was people who share their videos will get nuked as well. So I will probably share a video, a Paul Joseph Watson video. And
did you hear about what Snoop Dogg did?
What did he do?
So he got pissed that they banned Farrakhan. So he has a lot of followers, and he basically said to all of his followers, go share all, what you can, dig up Louis Farrakhan videos and share them on Facebook, because they can't stop all of us. And he's kind of right. They can't ban.
Maybe that's what we should do, is get some Paul Joseph Watson, get his like tamer ones like art or pop music and share the shit out of them. All right. 2 more super chat, 3 more now. Mr. Roboto, $2. Doom Patrol butts with Teeth Morrison madness. Yes, that was great. The sentient butts. Don't let out the butts. It was great, Mr. Roboto. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. Randy Kelly, thank you for the $3.87 donation. I greatly appreciate it. Opinionated Uploads gives me 2 donations for $1. Did you mean to do that? Thank you very much, Opinionated Uploads. Comix Division, let's call it an evening. It's getting kind of late.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, this one's kind of short, folks, and I will keep the chat up so I can read it. But honestly, I got a lot of stuff to do. I will say this for every live stream, 99% of the time, Friday Night Tights is something I keep on the channel. You never have to worry about it. But if you ever see a live stream, leave the channel. It will be back up on Nerdrotic Live. Or go to my channel on the very bottom. It says recent uploads. Any unlisted live stream can be seen in a playlist. So if you can't find one of my live streams, either go down to the bottom playlist on my channel, which is recent uploads or recent live streams, or go to Nerdrotic Live, which I will post in the chat right now. You can go ahead and subscribe over there, because that is in case something happens again to this channel. This is the alternate one. Plus, I will be doing more videos like free speech videos and woo-woo exozone stuff over there. And that's the reason we had to Doomcock, both Doomcock and I had to take planting exozone on our channel, because like we would do an exozone and then our channels would just stop. They would stop recommending us, to stop doing anything. But the minute,
because of the conspiracy stuff.
Because of the conspiracy stuff. Yep. So I'll still do it live on this channel, but we got to pop it on that one. I'm going to start recording them in OBS so we can see the chat. That's the only thing, is like the down. I wish YouTube should fix that.
Well, I have my screen split, so I have like the Google Hangout, and then I have the video or the live stream pulled up. I just have it paused and muted.
Yeah, but when you download it and it's unlisted, they take away the chat.
Oh yeah, that okay. Yep, makes sense.
Subscribe. Why don't you plug yourself, my man?
All right. Let me go and grab my URL real quick, which I think I already did, but I'll just pop it into the chat for you guys. So obviously, if you haven't figured out yet, I'm Comix Division. I'm kind of a commentator, much like Gary. I talk about a lot of random stuff. I have some Avengers Endgame videos planned out. I already have a script written up for my next video, which I'll be recording tomorrow. So I guess expect it either late Saturday or early Sunday. So yeah. This week has been fun because I've been switching over to my PC rather than using my Mac for streaming as well as recording. So I'm going to be using Premiere from now on. So I'm seriously trying to up the quality of my videos. So this should be an interesting experience when I go and record this video. It could be a disaster.
It could be, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. North American Viking or $5 nuked my Facebook over a year ago, nuked Twitter last month. Calming Sticks Hexenhammer. I know I can never say his name. Am I saying that right? Sticks
no, yes, that's right. That's
Sticks
right.
Hexenhammer and Tim Pool are at the forefront. Gab, Mines, and Dissenter. I've got a Gab. I do have a Gab. I'll get there eventually.
Gab? Yeah, I have a Gab too. I need to fucking start using it.
I almost have to, if I nuke my Facebook, that's just like one less thing to do. But
the only reason why it makes me because family contacts me on it. Yeah,
that, and also, you know, I'm thinking about other YouTubers like World Class Bullshitters heavily relies on their Facebook, and some people have like ginormous fake Facebook. I mean, World Class Bullshitters group is big, and some other people have like 30-40,000, and like to nuke that. But fuck, when does it stop? And like, honestly.
Well, the other thing too, man, make sure you have a BitChute account so you have everything being backed up to it, because that's very important. And I don't plug that enough. I need to make sure that if you follow me on YouTube, you know, to please follow me on BitChute as well, because God forbid anything happens to my channel, the only place I'll be posting will be BitChute.
Yep.
And probably Vimeo.
I'm on D Live for live streaming, but I got a Vimeo. I would just go to my website. That's what I would just use, my website. Nerdrotic.com is where I will live if I start getting nuked, you know, and hopefully I build enough following to where I get some people coming over there.
I'm going to throw this in the chat for you folks to follow me on BitChute as well. But that's something we all need to make sure that we all have backups of stuff. And it's slowly growing. I have 19 subscribers on BitChute.
There you go. Hey, you got to start somewhere. I remember Brian Smart remembers if he's in there. I had 35 subscribers for the longest time. All right, everybody. I'm going to close this one out. Thank you, everybody who joined us tonight. It was a great pleasure talking to you all. I'm sorry I didn't get more to the chat, but I'm going to keep this chat up and I'm going to read everything. If you feel strongly about something, definitely copy and paste it. Please like this. And again, if you see it disappear from the channel, it will most definitely be at Nerdrotic Live or unlisted here and nerdrotic.com. I don't ever get rid of my live streams. And do check us out. I'm on Player FM and iTunes. I turn all of these into podcasts. It usually takes about a day, but it gets turned into a podcast. Opinionated uploads. Good evening, good sirs. Hail, Nightcrawler. I mean, Arya. LOL, feminists seem to choose representation over quality of product. It's sad. It certainly is. It certainly is. And it's killing the industry, and they just don't seem to care. Willowy 13, 5 rubles. Twitter went after people because of Captain Marvel already. My at Branchy Thee and at Band BC, I posted a meme of Plankson as an iron table. Would post it again. Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, dare me with banning. I might share some Alex Jones videos on Twitter and stuff tonight. Keep on rocking. $2 from Gamer Gambit. Thank you so much. I will. We will keep it up. We will be back here next Friday at 7-ish. Next live show. I think I'm doing something with Jesse tomorrow from Mindless Entertainment for May the 4th be with you. And I will also probably do a quick stream live from the comic shop. And then, of course, Game of Thrones pregame on the Neurotic Live at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday afternoon. Then, of course, there's Game of Thrones. And then, of course, I will be live right after. Now, Dictor Doomcock said he was quitting the show, but then he kind of talked last night like he wanted to be on it. So I'm not sure if he's going to be on it or not. He's got to let me know.
Which show?
Recapping.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the last official word I've heard, I mean, we talked a little bit, but I think he said he was like done with the show, but now he says he might finish it out. So, okay. So he might be on. I'm not sure. Social media censorship coming because of 2020 elections. Alaric Harrison, I would say that's 100% guaranteed.
Yep.
It's not going to stop it. You know what? You ban people prior to the elections. You know what you just did?
You just got Trump reelected.
You just got him reelected.
Yeah.
Overnight. You are quite welcome, Artemis Over Easy. Everybody, thank you. You guys have been fantastic. Again, I'm so sorry I couldn't get in the chat more. But Comix Division has to go to bed, and I've got to see my family. I know, Orange Man bad. Yeah. So on that note, we do not kneel. Sub to Comix Division. Don't take any shit. And honestly, if they do this, I want you guys to, because I'm seriously thinking about nuking my Facebook over this. And I think if a bunch of us nuked our Facebooks, you want it to change. That's how it's going to change. But it's got to be everybody. It's got to be a bunch of us, or we just nuked our Facebooks for nothing. So, Beard Man Goods. Thank you, Cotton Candy Beard. All right. On that note, everybody have a good night. May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.